All right, everybody. Welcome to the Killer Main podcast series. Today's episode will be on the plague, and we have our lovely guest here. If they would like to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Magi on 7. I play a lot of the plague. I've got like 5k hours on this character on DBD. On this character, I've got like about 3k, and yeah, I make content on YouTube. I absolutely adore this character. Yeah, at Magi N7 on most platforms, and you'll find me engaging in various forms of chicanery.
You said you've never watched Better Call Saul, and yet you used the word chicane. Anyways, all that'll be linked below. You guys should. Well, that was a great start. So you said 5,000 hours, but how long have you been playing Dead by Daylight?
You know what? I know you hear this a lot, at least in the interviews I heard it, but literally like the Pyramid Head DLC.
Why is that the catalyst for everybody?
Oh, dude, it's just awesome sauce, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like I always hear people say they started playing during the Pyramid Head. That's when they started, and then I always hear people say they had like a Ghostface main phase. There's like the two constants for like everybody.
Ooh. Ooh.
But 5,000 hours in about 4 years ish.
Yeah. And now that I say that out loud, I thank the Lord in the heavens above, at Dearest Plague, that I make content, because oh my god, I'm so thankful I technically have an excuse for what I'm doing.
All right. Do you know how many hours I have?
No.
Would you like to guess?
Ooh, this is fun. Okay, so Chucky player. So I'm guessing 20 minutes in the actual game, and 4,000 hours like playing with bots because everyone DCs.
I have 1,600 hours.
Holy moly.
That's it.
Holy.
That's all I have.
On PC alone, or
no, just overall?
Yeah, that's kind of awesome sauce, man.
Well, no, I say that because a lot of people like hear me talk and they don't believe it.
No. I get it. Like, I don't know. It's like it's kind of bizarre. It'd be like, yeah, I actually have the exact amount of hours to raise a functionally like I don't know, like a worm, a little parrot or something. I don't know.
DBD is not even my most played game. I think I played Destiny more than I played Dead by Daylight.
You played Destiny 2? Oh, brother, we're cooked. Yeah. We're actually cooked.
I played Destiny 2. I played Deep Rock Galactic. I play Warframe. I have like 5,000 hours in Warframe alone. Yeah, I got that hyperfixation brain, unfortunately.
Oh, dude, I get it. Like I used to play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege until they like ruined that game. And then I play a lot of Overwatch, and yeah, Mauga makes me want to cry and throw all my toys at the pram and then eat my desk, and yeah, it does not feel good. It does not feel good.
I played Rainbow Six Siege until Grim came out. I think it was the last character I played. So that was like 2-3 years ago. I haven't really touched it since then. I only got the gold rank. That was the highest I ever got.
Oh, dude, no way. I stopped playing around Nomad, and then like it's been like an off and on thing. I felt like the game was really slowing down, and also Maverick at the time really did my head in. It was just like,
I actually kind of like it when it slowed down, if I'm honest with you. That's why I like that game as much as I do.
Oh man, dude, I miss spawn peeking. Oh man, what me and my buddies used to do is we used to play Rook and Doc. We would used to like I would play Rook, right? We get like the P90 with the ACOG. What we do is we'd spawn peek because everything's a headshot in that game, and the headshots kill. We would just spam 50 bullets into their spawn, and one of them will get someone.
They just added ACOGs back to like everything recently.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I heard of that. I think I played that. Yeah, but they removed spawn peeking, so dead game.
um, but was what I know you said Pyramid Head though, but what drew you to Dead by Daylight? Do you know?
You know what? Like I was watching this content creator at the time. Um I think he goes by Kaif. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's just this guy who plays with his buddies. And I was like, oh, this game's kind of cool. This game's kind of cool. It's kind of like a boss fight. You know what I mean? It was just him playing like Michael Myers and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is kind of fucking cool. So like I was like, okay, I'll check out this game. It's on sale or something. And yeah, I got in, and one of my other mates at the time, who I met through YouTube, is like, "Oh, you play DBD? We can squat up together." And I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's awesome sauce." And yeah, my first game on, it was against a Bubba, and I was playing. I was a little baby Bill, and I got bled out.
You got bled. How did you get bled out as Bill? You have Unbreakable.
Well, that's the thing. My brain, I was like, okay, I want to be a good guy. I want to help my team. I'm gonna bring borrow time. I was the only Bill player who ever brings borrow time as an Unbreakable. I was that guy, and like I like ran in, like he was face camming someone in base, and I ran in like the little hero I am, rescued someone, and then like everyone got slugged from that.
What is it?
So
what is it about Bill that makes people like do that? The amount of times I see a Bill like run at me to go save their teammates.
It's just Bill Left 4 Dead. It's what he would do. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, lore accurate.
Fun thing about Bill's lore, by the way, because we actually don't know too much, but his rank is corporal because it's on his shoulder. But he was in the special forces, and the chances of you being in the special forces without being a sergeant is almost non-existent. So either A, he was just that good, or B, he did something massively messed up and got demoted.
Dude, he's just him. He's just him.
He's just him.
Like also in the lore of like Left 4 Dead, he like woke up from anesthesia and like fought off a bunch of zombies with bone saws, ran all the way home to his apartment, put on his old like his old his old combat uniform, and was just like, all right, back to work.
Yeah, Bill's a badass. I love him.
Yeah, I love Bill.
But you know, the burning question that everyone has with everyone who mains a character: why Plague?
Ooh, that's a very big question. Okay. So I guess it's multiple reasons. I think for starters, disease as a weapon in a first person ish game, like multiplayer game, is such a novel concept, and it's executed, I think, really well. Like, yeah, obviously there's problems with it, but I think it's really cool what they managed to accomplish. I think her power, like I mentioned, like boss fight, it was either between her, Nurse, and Pyramid Head at the time. I was like, okay, these guys are a proper threat. And I realized like Plague was like, she had kind of like phases, like that's how my early pattern recognition brain was. It was like, okay, you have Corrupt, where you're like massively aggressive, and then you have Vile, where you're setting things up, you're doing plays. Sometimes you're even like being aggressive with Vile as well. That's also a thing that develops as the more you play Plague. But I think that's really cool. I think her design rocks. It's so cool. I think our character is super neat, and yeah, I also really like her nails and all of the cosmetics.
I like her nails. That is the most base reason I've heard to enjoy a character.
Dude, it's like she's got gauntlets on. It's sick. It's actually cool.
I think, like I've said it before, I think Plague, in my opinion, is one of the best design killers in the game. Not just from like a visual perspective, but even from like a gameplay perspective. She's a character, like you kind of mentioned, where she has like ups and downs throughout the match. And a lot of it is in the survivor's control, but also, you know, Plague can kind of force it a bit. But not to the point of where it's like uncounterable. You know, because the survivors had the decision of, do I stay broken and injured, or do I do the fountain with the risk of giving the Plague the power?
Yeah.
and then obviously the snowball potential from that, and then there's a, I don't know, there's a lot of things that I think makes Plague good from the design perspective. And she's not like, but she's not very user friendly as far as like a beginner player goes.
What, that she's not user friendly?
Yeah,
because I do agree. Like, Plague's skill floor and skill ceiling is one of the highest in the game, in my opinion. Like, seriously, like I went from Nurse, like my first ever killer I played was Nurse, and then I went to Plague. Like, it's kind of, I do totally get, but then again, the power, it's basically Plague has, you look at Vecna, right? He's got like 4 powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically both Plague and Vecna have a sandbox, right? But the difference is, while Vecna has a bunch of shiny toys, you can only do, in my opinion, like a couple of things with it. I know that's how it gels together, but with Corrupt and Vile, there's genuinely so much you can do about it. It's like a depth of like a toddler's swimming pool to, you know, the Mariana's Trench.
Right.
Okay, that's a bit of an egotistical thing to say. Yeah, no, my killer good. Dearest Plague good.
I was just talking about that before stream. It's, yeah, but like, I mean, I enjoy Plague a lot. I don't play her much, and I've kind of after 1 doing the Aranad thing and 2 doing I was gonna bring this up later. Plague's daily is like the worst daily in the game, I swear.
Which one's that?
Her daily challenge, if you get it, is M1 a fully infected survivor.
Wait, what?
Yeah. 4 times.
Wait, fully infected survivor 4 times, what?
Yes, with her basic attack. That is her daily challenge.
Easy points. I love money. I love money.
I hate it.
But yeah, no, it's I'm not. Why?
Because every time I try to do it, like I'm trying to like get it done as fast as I can, so I purposefully don't use Corrupt Purge because it doesn't count.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then like sometimes I'll get the matches where like the survivors only like go straight to the fountains, and then like I'll be forced into Corrupt Purge. I'm like, damn it.
Oh, you're talking about getting hyper cleansed. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god, brother. I weep. Oh my god.
It's only when I'm doing the daily, I swear. It never happens any other time.
Dude, I love fountains. I genuinely do. I love fountain. I think it's in this VOD as well, where I like let someone live because they cleanse that much. I usually let people live because they cleanse. But yeah, like flat out, like I think what add-ons do you use, or you rock like no add-ons
for that? If I'm doing that, it's just the infection rate ones.
Ooh.
They're the only ones that really do anything for that.
Not really. If it's like hit 4 survivors with your weapon at max infection, I would recommend like the effectiveness add-ons. Like if you're running like bubble, like I think that's overall gonna harm you a lot more than help. I think, honest to God, the 2 you might actually want to use is any of the cooldown add-ons, or even double cooldown, which is like legitimately a problem, or the rubbing oil, which is genuinely one of the strongest add-ons Plague has access to, because like
what is the rubbing oil?
Rubbing oil?
Yeah, is that the object one?
No, rubbing oil is the green where you charge up both Vile and Corrupt faster.
Oh. Yeah, that would actually probably help more than I think about. I usually, if I do it and I have one, I usually run the Eerie, the one that shows auras.
Ooh.
Because I'm a scrub. I love that add-on. I love that add-on so much.
I get that's a lot of things with like Plague enjoyers is like you pick a side. You're either Eerie Seal or Black Incense.
Yeah, I mean, Seal's,
both are
yeah,
both are okay. Both are okay, by the way. Like,
I mean, we'll get into this with changes a little bit, but I mean, I think Plague has some of the best add-ons in the game that no one talks about.
Oh yeah, no, like I remember I made a video on like I made a video on Eerie Seal twice. This is why like my own chat, like straight up, like they know I don't like it, so they forced me to run it and win streak with it. So yeah, I flat out I think that Plague does have a lot of the stronger add-ons, but I also think that Plague also has, I don't know, like I'm not sure about this, but I look at Chucky's add-ons like unironically, and I'm like, oh, they all kind of have a unique effect. I'm kind of want some of that.
I would disagree, but
no, like you know, like rat poison. You got like the TV. Dude, I love TV and the screwdriver, bro. You go flying in endgame. It's insane.
4.5 seconds.
What? Like, here's the thing. Like, even in this game, like it depends on the speed, right? And 4.5 seconds of extra, like it's like going forward, like that is straight up, but like a down.
Oh no! It's great. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, yeah. With both of them together, it's 4.5 seconds of 160% movement speed.
Dude, that's crazy, man. That is actually crazy, man.
And that's not counting if you can, hit a window or pallet, which extends it.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, dude. I remember, like, I was curious to like hear your thoughts about this, but when they removed like Chucky's ability to like flick and all that, do you think that's what caused Scamper Brain? Like, a little bit.
I do 100%, because what else are you gonna go for? Like, a Scamper was a guaranteed hit, but like, when they got rid of the 180s, like, it's the same problem with like Blight now. Without the hug text, it's like people want to go for clips. People want to do something cool. And when you take away their ability to do something cool, they're just going to go for the easy option. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I feel that with Plague at the moment. Like, they removed, well, they didn't remove it. It's gone due to a bug, but you can't pierce survivors anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that like really tanks her infection rate. Like I've got a whole separate theory on why that even happens in the first place, but it's like, I can't use Vile Purge as effectively in Chase, so I'm not rewarded for having accurate aim, which, like a lot of people on Twitter would be like, oh, dude, the Vile Purge aim, like Corrupt Purge aim? Question marks? It's like, yeah, you do need to aim with that. Like especially because like it's a chain of projectiles, right? Like,
right.
The actual projectiles are invisible. I love saying this because like sometimes you'll get the most ridiculous hits if you're fucking around, and sometimes you'll like it'll be like the vomit lands on them, but it does nothing. You won't even get a splash, and it's like, yeah, that's why you don't spray wildly. Oh man, like it's kind of like, it's really hard to describe. Like okay, so you're kind of like trying to predict their trajectory, right? And you're trying to, it's like a brush stroke. If anything, you're trying to coat that entire trajectory with projectiles, so that the max amount of projectiles goes through their hitbox, so they have the maximum amount of time to actually register the hit on the server and not get rejected. But obviously that doesn't happen anymore. So
I mean, like I said, it's just a matter of like I've talked to plenty of Weskers, but a lot of Wesker players have straight up said, like, if they get rid of the hug techs or the slidings and stuff that Wesker can do, they'll stop playing Wesker, because what else are you going to do with him? You just 2 dashes forward the killer.
Well, there's this funny little thing Weskers love doing, and they love tunneling. And I can't really blame them. This is like friendly fire, because I love slugging. So, blue on blue, I guess. But no, like I completely get it. It's like if they removed waterfalls and drop shots from Plague, it'd be like, and especially like the removal of tracking, which is like not infection tracking, just like tracking with your aim. It's like man, you're really trying to make a character a lot less intuitive and like a lot less skill expressive at the same time. And it's like, why though?
I mean, the skill expression argument, though, I mean, to me, I don't even think it's a matter of necessarily skill expression. I think it's a matter of being able to show it. Because, I mean, because there's a lot of skill expression, without those things. It's hard to demonstrate.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the bigger issue. It's like with Blight now, it's like I said, I made a tweet about this earlier because people were complaining about Chucky not being skill expressive. It's like, like knowing when, where, how, which loops, which gens, which buildings, etc., that your power can work at and how to use it at those specific loops. All of that is skill expression. The problem is no one sees that end of it, right? All they care about is how you got the hit. Not the before, not the thought process, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even as people doing it, it's like, like doing like 7 things to get 1 hit. Like, as long as like it looks skillful or feels skillful, that's all we really care about. And that they've definitely been removing that a lot.
Yeah. Like I got hit by a scancel once, and oh my god, as soon as that happened, like it was, I think it was like the day before it got patched out. I was like, bro, why are you guys removing this? That was cool as fuck.
It wasn't even like an easy thing to do or applicable often.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. It's like I think the more cool things you remove, like or stuff that like looks cool and looks flashy, the less people enjoy facing a character. It's kind of the same reason with Plague, I find, for the most part. It's like, how many Plagues do you see like actually going for drop shots and like waterfalls and curves and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah,
like,
not very often anymore.
Yeah. And it's like, what did you do?
Well, I mean, I've said the same thing about like, it's not even just like necessarily like skill expression. For some of it, it's just reward, right? I said this before with Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head gets punished for hitting max range shots.
Oh fuck yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, he does.
Because it's not faster. It's not a faster recovery. They get the speed boost from farther away, so they get farther away. So they get farther sooner. Like, there's no reward for doing it. So why would a Pyramid Head go for it?
I think they should rework it so it's like Roadhog's hook in Overwatch and it just pulls them towards you.
My idea for fixing Pyramid Head with that was the last meter of the M2 torments them.
Ooh.
Because they tried that on PTB where like the M2 always tormented them and it was terrible. But I think if it was the last meter, I think that would be fine. Because that would also mean Pyramid Heads might go for those long distance shots when they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, no, totally. It's kind of the same thing with like orbitals on like Huntress.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're cool as hell, but like every Huntress I know is like, no, I don't know much Huntresses, to be fair, but like every time I like face them, it's like, yes, today I'm gonna hold M2 around the rock loop. It's like, buddy, it doesn't work like that. Please, for the love of God, just put the hatchet away and like get a little closer to me. It does not work like that. You are actively losing distance.
Well, it depends on the loop.
Oh yeah, no, like I totally get it. But like,
same thing with Deathslinger. When I play Deathslinger, I zone a lot. I feel bad for doing it, but the amount of times it gets you an easier hit. Why would I take a shot that I could miss when I could just zone you and guarantee the hit?
Yeah, like I think I was saying this. I find Deathslinger so much like actually fun. Like I balance wise, like don't talk to me, but like I find it much more entertaining when they just go for shots. Like just immediately, like M2 fire. Like if it's M2 and then you're just holding M2, like you're like holding an angle in Valorant, it's like, okay, bro. It's
but people hate zoning. It's just, I've said this before. Zoning is basically crowd control, in a different way, and people hate crowd control in any game, because it takes away agency.
I mean, yeah, but
But it's like, how do you fix that?
um, I guess that's why they get paid money for this. I
It's
guess
like
why that.
it's like Pyramid Head has like a limited time, I guess. But even then, like the threat is always there.
Yeah.
Same with Deathslinger. It's like, yeah, he moves slower, but if you're dodging, he catches up to you anyways.
Yeah, I think they should give him like this is not genuine balance advice, but like what I think they should do is like the Huntsman in TF2, where
Mhm.
like if you hold M2 down for a while, like his arms get the wobbly, it's like, it's
Mm,
like that, and you just can't fire the gun.
that's actually an interesting idea. Um,
I said that as a bit, by the way.
yeah. Well,
I
no,
don't know
no,
how
it's an
to fix
interesting
them.
idea where like maybe you're punished for holding the gun for too long, or like
Yeah.
same with like Huntress, maybe you're punished for holding the hatchet for too long. Um,
Oh yeah.
I could actually maybe see them doing something like that one day. I doubt it'll ever happen, but I could see it. Um, but I guess this leads on to the plague in general, though. Uh, Other than bugs, because bugs are bugs, uh,
Hmm.
are there any changes you would make to plague base?
Ooh, I've got some changes. So I think for starters, I would rework pretty much every contamination add-on
Mm-hmm.
except the Shattered Prayer Tablet and just make contaminations by default last for 70 seconds. Like they're 40 seconds now, so I'd make the hematite base cut. Because basically at this point, like there's this thing, infection tracking, which I've been working on a script for over a year. It's very intricate, but basically by using the contamination system, you can track exactly what a survivor was doing and where
Mm-hmm.
by like how quickly they got infected, like when they got infected, that sort of thing. And yeah, you can just track exactly how that is with the knowledges of the contamination system. And while it would make it like longer lasting contaminations would make it a little less inconsistent, it would make the first infection very much like it would make it feel a lot more tactical to go around the map and set those up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another one as well, what I would make is I would set a limit to the maximum, like a maximum contamination for the amount of plague this like to set. Because here's the thing you see a lot of plagues doing is they run around the map the entire time, vomiting on everything, and oh my god, you know how much time that loses you? It's insane. It's actually insane. Oh my god, I the amount of times I've seen plagues lose a round because I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get max Thanatophobia value if I just like infect, like if I play Power Wash Simulator, it's like,
I like
dude.
I like doing on gens if I'm walking by. That's about it. I don't go out of my way to do it to everything though.
Yeah, no, like it's usually newer plagues, but I think it's a lot more intuitive if like you just put a little counter at the side, It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like, okay, that's your max. And then you'll be like, okay, how could I work with this? And I know like the obvious like side like the obvious comment is like, oh Magi, what's stopping that from putting everything on gens? But like here's the thing, right? Plague, like, yeah, she one shots you, but she's also an M1 killer who has obviously she has corrupt, but when corrupt's been procced, unless it's the eerie seal, generally where she's coming from because you can see the fountain reappear after she pops it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a massive warning sign, unless she's got monitor and abuse or other perks. But
She's also
if we're talking,
super tall.
yeah, and she's also got two prominent smoke effects. It's like, plague is coming. Like the only there's I don't know. Like pre-running is boring. Like half the skill ceiling of plague is like getting survivors to group up. It's like to get them to group up, so you spend as much time as possible near the survivors with corrupt, so they don't get the value from pre-running because ironically pre-running it like holding forward is like outside of 13 to 14.5 meters, it's really strong against plague. inside of that, it gets you killed.
Right.
So yeah, there's like, I think that's.
Go on.
Oh no! I was yapping. I was yapping.
I was just gonna say, I think like pre-running though is like the counter to like half the roster.
I mean, true.
And like I get it's boring, but it's like, I don't know. It's also the idea of like, I also think people use the word counter a bit too liberally. That'd be how I'd put it.
I mean,
what does countering something actually mean?
And you know what? Like, okay, countering means like it's effectively useless, or like it's really strong against it. Like, it's ridiculously strong to the point of it being like, okay, I should stop what I'm doing and try and like sort what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a problem with most multiplayer games. Is like, you know, like League of Legends. I played like one game of League. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, this character counters you. And it's like, oh fuck, what am I supposed to do? Can I switch heroes? No. It's I mean, oh, okay.
They've gotten better about that over the years. But yeah, I mean, but you know, counterpicking was definitely a thing in that game. And I mean, Overwatch used to be like that too. They've gotten much better about it recently, but
it's pretty bad now. Actually, it's like if you go on TikTok, that's everything they complain about. It's like, yeah, bro, yeah, I played like one game of like I played like one game of like Reinhardt, and then they immediately swapped like Mauga, and then like I swapped Mauga, and then I posted this guy's like address in the comments, and it's like okay, dude.
But it's like, I feel like with counters and Dead by Daylight in particular, a lot of the counters are just like people like I'll tell people counters for like certain killers, and they're like, well, I don't want to do that. Then you can't like they have a counter, you just don't like doing it, which is fine, but like the counter's there. But
yeah,
but like I mean like I don't know, like Chucky. I tell people all the time, there's two counters for Chucky. Stop moving when you can't see him, which people hate doing, and the other one is I can't. Oh, junk loops. He can't play junk loops. That's the counters. People hate both of those. One of them is map dependent. The other one's boring.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like the literal counter to Plague, and like both purges is literally get yourself in a loop and hug it tightly. Like loop good and act unpredictably. Mm-hmm. Like I find that so funny, and every time, I guess like it's not really that, but it's like when people find Plague annoying, it's like, okay, there's multiple reasons, and then, you know, one of them, it's like, okay, dude, you don't like playing the video game? Hello? But I don't know, maybe like Plague has some definite problems. Like emetophobia is something I've wanted to filter for a while. I am shocked there isn't like a client side thing to disable like the vomit animation and the sound effects. That's all we want, just a toggle. Yeah, like, you know how like Lethal Company does it. I think it would be really funny if they did a Lethal Company like slider where like at the max it like Plague's model gets replaced with just a giant, like, you know how like in Source games when like a thing's missing and it's just like a missing text, you know what I mean? It's just that, but it's like Plague.
I mean, like the whole vomiting thing. Like I've brought this up before, that this game needs way more audio options than it has. But like someone told me, they're like, yeah, but Plague uses that to track. You can't just get rid of it. It's like, yeah, but just do it client side so the survivor can't hear it.
Yeah, no, like that's literally all you need to do. That's all you need to do. And then like half the people who complain about Plague suddenly enjoy playing against Plague. It's like basic quality of life, I guess. I don't know. I've championed for it for a while. I think it's so silly because like I didn't even know emetophobia was like I don't know, a really big problem. I didn't even know it was a phobia. I mean, there's phobias of everything, but like, I remember the first time I found out about it was I played against this team, and one of the like members of the team had emetophobia, and they DC'd at 5 gens. Now, I was in a very bad mood, so I immediately DC'd as well. So because I just wanted to have a word, and I was like, "Hey, why did you DC?" And it was like, "Oh, I have a emetophobia, like a phobia of vomit." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh no!" So
it's a very common thing too. It's not to discredit anybody who's had trauma from it, but it's an evolutionary thing for the most part for a lot of people. It's the same reason a lot of people are scared of spiders and snakes. It's our dumb monkey brains. Because our ancestors back in the day didn't understand, vomit might be bad for you. They couldn't like differentiate why or how, so they were just like, oh, don't go near it. And then so it just developed from there. It's the same thing with spiders and snakes. We couldn't tell which ones were deadly, so our brains just associated them with all are deadly.
Yeah.
And then that's just been passed down through generations and such. But I mean, the question becomes then like, and this isn't discounting anybody, but it's like with the whole phobia thing. I think the fear of vomit and stuff is definitely definitely one that could be implemented. And then like, the fear of clowns is a pretty common phobia. I think we could definitely try to add a filter for clown in some way. But and I know this is technically a slippery slope argument, but it's like, where do we draw the line?
I don't think you should have a panic attack for the mere crime of playing the video game.
No, you shouldn't. I don't think you should. But at the same time, and I think plague is the exception, because that's not like a general fear. Like it's not something that's common in most games, right? But like you're playing a horror game, like shouldn't like clown like clowns are a pretty staple thing in horror.
Yeah.
So like, and once again, do I think there should be a filter for clown? Yes, I do. I'm just saying like, I don't know. It's like where do we draw that line? Like, should there just be a filter for every killer in the game?
I mean, I would say there's only like pretty much two, unless like you're me and you're scared of Trickster because he's hot. I'm joking about that, but yeah, no, it's like I think there's only two where it's pretty much an issue. Like, yeah, it is. It like most designs, it's like, oh, this is scary, but it's not gonna like actually give me a panic attack. Besides, Kenneth and your girl. Well, but
even Chucky, some people have a fear of dolls.
You know what? Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah. That's a very interesting thing. But I think it's more about ease of how they can do it. And I think plague being as easy as it is to fix.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, with plagues, I think plagues is the simpler one to fix. Because we already know they do things client side. So like I think making an audio client side would not be that difficult. Relatively speaking, anyways. But because I mean, like I have a fear of crows. I'm deathly afraid of crows.
Really? Oh,
yeah. Crows scare the shit out of me.
Damn.
And everyone's different, but it's like I don't know. I don't want a filter for artists because of that.
Yeah,
I think the vomit one is the more pressing one, because that can actually cause like a lot of issues, because for some people it's not just panic attacks. For some people it genuinely makes their stomach swell up.
Yeah, like I don't know, it is an interesting thing. I think most concepts in horror are like, okay, that's unnerving, right? Like, or like it'll make you like, I don't know. My only real phobia is of drowning. Like specifically drowning. I'm fucking petrified of it. Like it's mainly the whole reason I got into swimming is like so I can specifically avoid that. Like if it ever happened.
I mean, so like I have a fear of open water. I can't play Subnautica.
Oh yeah, like I totally get it. Like my mates have thalassophobia. And I tried to get them into Subnautica, but I didn't realize they had Thanatophobia. And so, like, you know, I bought them a gift on Steam. It's like, oh, what's this about? And then they messaged me like 20 minutes later. It's like, hey, yeah, I can't do this, by the way. And I was like, oh shit, why? And it was like, yeah.
I remember,
but
I used to play Fallout 3, and there's a section where you had to swim in the water to go somewhere. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it as a kid. I just said, no, I'm never finishing this quest. I'm sorry, I can't. But I mean, like I always use the Subnautica example because it's like, well, I know what Subnautica is. So it's like, should I expect them to add like something to make it so I can play the game?
I feel like it's kind of a different example. Like if you like Dead by Daylight, it got a massive player surge due to Resident Evil in 2021, mm-hmm. right? And like, you know, it's like, oh, how many people signed on for Nemi, right? Like that's what they signed on for. That's what it was advertised to them. It's like, oh, Nemi's in this game, guys. It's like, you know, and they, I don't know. It's kind of a different barrier for entry. Like you kind of generally know what's going on. Like if you look at Subnautica's Steam page, right? It's like, oh, it's a game that's underwater. I know that, like I know that's not good for me, so you know I won't play it. You know what I mean? And I guess the thing with Plague and it being a live service game as well is like the longer it goes on, like if you bought Dead by Daylight in 2016, you had like Emetophobia, like you were kind of fucked when they added that in. You didn't you never expected they were going to go Plague route. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I can see it. Once again, I'm agreeing with you. Like I think they should do it. I'm just curious, and I hate using the slippery slope argument, but like from a dev perspective, it's like where do you draw the line? It's always my question.
Yeah, I wouldn't really know
because
like
I was just gonna say because it's similar to like I said. I mean, the game is listed as a horror game, right? I mean, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like, I mean, obviously there's clowns in it, right? But should they add and you know it's a live service and all this stuff? Should they add a filter to make it so people with chlorophobia can play it?
You know what? I guess it really is like a case by case basis. Like I think Dead by Daylight should do it because it's advertised as an icon of horror. Killer Clowns shouldn't do it because Killer Clowns is literally advertised as Killer Clowns.
Right.
So
But I mean, you get what I'm saying, though, right? With the whole.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. Like, it is certainly a conundrum. I'll like go to Magi N7 Aristotle room while I'll do the thinker on it, like for like 20 minutes, and then I'll like start thinking about Plague DBD again, have a massive smile, and fall asleep. But yeah, it really is a very interesting debate.
Yeah, I would love to have someone like, I don't know. I would love to have someone on the dev team who kind of handles that kind of thing. I don't know if there would be a department or a person for it, but I would love to hear their thoughts on it. Because would that fall under accessibility? I guess it would.
I think it would. Yeah. I know that you can go like, I forget how they do it, but like if you can organize, like you can contact their communications team or like any company's communication team. You point out like, hey, this is my channel, it's my platform. I kind of want to interview someone about this from the dev team. Is there anyone specifically to do that? Yada, yada, yada. And then, you know, if that is something they're interested in talking about, they arrange it. But, you know, considering I think it's only King who, like, he interviewed Matthew Cotier a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I have no idea how he arranged that. Maybe it's just like, just knows him IRL. He goes to the same pub.
I would assume like no one's really tried that much. Honestly speaking, I don't know. Maybe one day I will give it a try. But apart from the infection thing and or object infection and the accessibility issue with the fear vomit, what is there any other like base changes you would make? This includes add-ons, by the way.
Okay, you're gonna get a laundry list. You've just opened the floodgates. I hope you know.
I'm here for it. Go for it.
I've heard a suggestion, and it's grown on me. But Plague is pretty notorious for. She's not a. I wouldn't say she's a good camper, but she is an amazing tunneler. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
she is fucking amazing at that. So what I'll like some plagues will do, like bless up to my buddy Tormented Punisher, the one guy with a massive plague win streak, stole my outfit, the bastard. But yeah, he would like a strategy they would do is they would grab corrupt like after hooking after a little bit and then like proxy a little bit. So when they would rescue, they would immediately run back with corrupt. Like, and I'm talking like really like a fountain that's relatively close to the hook. So it become like you'd immediately be on top of them with 60 seconds of corrupt. So what I want to do is if you hook a survivor near a fountain after like 10 seconds, it will swap to another fountain. Now I know that's like Magi. What? Why would you do that? But this raises a very entertaining little thought. So what a lot of survivors will do is they will run to they'll get the gens done in the edge maps, and if the good teams, amazing teams, they will do it near corrupt. Right? They'll have like their little juicer, their little ARM, like JRM wannabe. They'll run over, juice you for a little bit, and get the one nearest the fountain, the corrupt fountain, done.
Yeah,
then
hang on. For those a little confused, by corrupt, not the corrupted gens, the fountains.
Oh yeah, the code red fountains,
yeah.
the Gatorade.
Code red fountains. Go on.
Yeah. So they'll do it near that. So what that will do is it will So if I want to go grab corrupt at that point, if I want to go grab corrupt purge at that point, I have to travel into a dead zone, grab corrupt, and then travel back to wherever I want to use it. And all that time, I am burning more time to get there. And that gives the survivors a lot of time to react to that play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's honestly really powerful. And what another strategy good survivors do is they'll lead you to dead zones. So when you hook, it is the exact same problem where, you know, you burn a lot of time going there, you spend a lot of time there, you spend a lot of time coming back, so they get a lot of gen time. So that suggestion would actually punish that. So you hook them by a corrupt fountain, right? And then that fountain swaps to the one that's closest to like to another fountain. So either it's closer to the area or it's actually in the area you want to be. And I think that would be a lot more entertaining of a change than, you know, like, oh, she hits me off hook. Oh, she hits me off hook again. Oh, this is cool. I think Plague is better suited for the team-wide aggression. Like I love that. It's the whole reason I think she's the best character that exemplifies boss fight. It's like I think I've compared her to a pit bull before, like the entity's friendliest pit bull, because like good plagues, they'll like drop everything. They'll down one person. If they hear you, they're on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like that creates so much pressure. So I think rewarding a plague for not only taking a unique chase, but not waiting around a hook is such a good change. It's like I'm not sure if you've interviewed anyone for Trickster, but what a thing I've seen for Trickster, or at least something I've done, is they would 99 their main event, hit you with an M1, and then like wait it out, and then they would like you know, I guess this is more so old Trickster, where like he had like the piercing blades and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, you just kind of die against that. And
I think the one issue I would have with that, and I actually do kind of want it to happen, but now that you've explained it a little bit, the one problem I would have with that is conveyance, because how do you explain that to somebody without like it feeling non-intuitive? And I think the other big issue would just be it would just be kind of annoying if you weren't like intending to camp. You know what I mean? Like you're picking someone up and you're taking them to that hook specifically because you can just get the fountain right there.
Yeah. That's why I said like 10 seconds. So like if you're taking them to the
Mm,
fountain, it wouldn't immediately swap. So you have
okay.
10 seconds to grab it, make a play, see like your barbecue and chili aura reads.
Similar to how the anti-camp works now.
Yeah, exactly. I also thought as well, and this is probably a very controversial change, especially for me, and I'd probably hate this, and it's probably a thing I've toyed with in my brain, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it, is to have it's either to as a whole, the closer you are to filling the anti-camp meter, the slower your progress goes. Or specifically for plague, if they don't want to do that, your corrupt purge meter will decay faster if you're like just face camping someone.
I actually wouldn't hate that either, honestly. I
Hmm.
think I could see that happening. To be fair though, with because of them adding anti-camp, they've been getting rid of a lot of that kind of stuff though. Because that's supposed to be the punishment anyways.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work
I
all the
still
time, but
I still think anti-camp has still got some issues, and I feel like they're like, yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
it does what it's supposed to do. I
I
feel.
mean, yeah, but it's like it's really annoying when you have like, you know, coke like coconut RTS fan 2016 like standing like exactly 13 meters away from a hook with the hatch out, you know.
But like the that is true. But I mean, I like the whole point was to stop base camping.
Yeah.
So like it
Yeah.
does that job well enough. And the only real change I would do to the anti camp thing now is I feel like your teammates should be able to see the meter.
Oh yeah, no, that
that
absolutely.
that should
That's
that I don't understand why that's not a thing. It's so the amount of times I see people like taking chase around hook and don't realize that my meter isn't going up because of that.
yeah,
It's
it's a little silly. Survivor man, the survivors, solo queue survivors, the silly little guys.
it's
Just don't be too harsh on them. They're silly little guys. They give you fountains. Please don't bully them too hard.
but I mean apart from all that though, because I actually kind of like those ideas. Her add-ons. I mean, we mentioned it a little bit earlier. Plague has probably one of the better sets of add-ons in the entire game.
Mm.
Are there any like nerfs or buffs you would make to any of them that aren't just number changes or anything like that?
Okay, so Eerie Seal is ridiculously strong.
Mm-hmm.
It is so stupidly strong. It's always been that way, by the way. Like even when it like reduced your max movement speed, it is ridiculous. Like I've heard people like, oh yeah, black hit sets are stronger. It was not. It was not that way. It was just that plagues just didn't know how to use corrupt. Like especially like plague is one of those characters that people, if you like Plague, it's like Twins, right? Like the Twins players have like 2,000 hours on her. Like all the Twins play, like all the Twins mains.
Mm-hmm.
They hear Victor scampering and they're like this like their sleep. It's like I'm like that the same way. It's like and like I say like a lot. But what I would do with the black incense,
Seal.
oh seal.
Okay.
Holy moly, Magi. What I would do is I would make it increase the amount, like your corrupt purge duration by 20 seconds with every hit you get with it. That's what I would do, and you can't increase it. Like you can't increase the time, and you can't get extra fountains. That's what I would do.
So basically, it becomes like a snowbally thing.
Yes.
So you would just be constantly trying to go for corrupt hits so you can keep being in your power.
Yes.
I actually kind of like that. Um,
Because like,
I mean, is Seal the only one you would kind of change though? You think Incense is fine?
black incense. I know my buddy Agrilla like fucking adores that add-on. I still think it's a little bit fucking silly that you're able to see everyone with corrupt. I think it's a little bit silly. But I think it being tied primarily to a M1 killer you can see coming or has to dedicate an entire build to sneak up on you
Mm-hmm.
makes it ooh,
Well, it's
ooh.
also like it isn't, but it's also random.
I mean, yeah. True.
Not really, but it is. Because the cough is like, it has a chance every 4 seconds to happen.
Yeah. Funny story about that, by the way. You like everyone said like way back in the day that, I mean, it was kind of true, but Plague used to play the injured sounds alongside the coughing and like the general infection sounds. It used to be a lot less frequent, like until today, right? Like, Plague in her current form, like everyone is just like it's an infectious disease ward. It's like, holy shit, bro. Like, I mean, she is called the Plague, but like, you know, it like part of me does miss the normal injured sounds because like male survivors, like they have the same vomit voice line and it makes everyone sound like Jeff. And I do kind of miss it. I do kind of miss it. But then again, like the newer survivors like screams, like it makes me a little sad. Like, because it's good. It's good. It's good. It makes me feel guilty. It makes me feel guilty, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Run calm spirit for that reason. I don't like it.
I think the one other big thing that people often bring up, the chanting when you're in corrupt.
Oh, the whispers. I love the whispers.
Do you think they should stay, or do you think they should go away?
I think it's thematic. I think they should tone it down. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to spitball to you. Plague is the only projectile killer without a lullaby.
She is. She is the only projectile killer without a lullaby, isn't she?
I mean, yeah, people have toyed with Death Slinger, but like Trickster has one. I mean, Clown also has one, but like,
no, Clown doesn't.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, let's give like Death Slinger one. And it's like, okay, I think that Plague should get a lullaby that's specifically within like 6 meters of her when she's in corrupt, and that would be her whispers, like as Survivor. So all you would hear is like, "Asapome," you know, it would be like, "Oh fuck, Plague's here."
I wouldn't even like. I would straight up say like, what's do you know the max range of corrupt?
Stock is 13 meters.
13? Yeah, I mean, I would just make it the lullaby like 15 meters.
Okay, but here's the problem. I think I would say it's just 13 meters with corrupt because here's the thing. When you're at 13 meters, max hits at 13 meters don't happen when you're at 13 meters. Like, you have to be at like 12.5.
Right.
Not even 12.5. You have to be at like 11 meters so you can get hit by a 13 meter shot, or like a 14.5, or like a 15.5 if you're a fully stacked speed plague. The numbers are crazy. Anyway, you have to be like much closer than you think. So it being 15, I think I don't really like that. 13, I think is good. It's like, okay, maybe 14.5 just to account for the emetic.
Did you know Chucky has a lullaby technically?
Yes.
Yeah.
I play with the heartbeat accessibility.
No. He has a it's not a lullaby. That's the thing. It doesn't come up. When he's undetectable, he laughs, and you can hear the laugh within 12 meters.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. Yeah. I knew that.
It's the exact range of Slice and Dice is.
Oh, dude, you know who I was thinking of? I was thinking of Sadako. My bad.
Oh yeah, Sadako has a lullaby too. People forget that one, but yeah. No, Chucky's isn't visual or anything. I think it should be, honestly, because having a killer whose main form of counterplay is sound is never a good thing. Cough, cough, spirit.
Yeah, I know you spoke with my my buddy Carol. Yeah, that was entertaining. But yeah, Spirit is also one of them.
Did you did you watch that one?
I watched bits and pieces of it. Like I'm technically on my practicum right now. Yeah, so
we talked about we toyed with the idea of Spirit maybe getting Chucky
footsteps. Oh, the footsteps. Yeah. I think that's a really cool idea. I think as well for there's a couple other tweaks I would make to Plague to make it more quality of life. And I had this whole video planned for a rework, but I guess you're getting this content now.
That happened with Stocky Boy from Myers, so it's fine.
Yeah, so I wanted her purges to charge slower.
Mm-hmm.
No, to have a much heftier cooldown, but I want her to get more projectiles, if that makes any sense.
I give, yeah. It would basically make it,
I want her...
It would make the projectile, not bigger is the wrong word, but it would add more, like, what's the polite word? Girth to the projectiles, I would assume.
Here's the thing. I haven't really properly thought this out, but I want her purges to feel more impactful to use.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially this patch, because cough cough bug, but her purges feel very, very whack to use.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a lot of plagues obviously spam it. Like I remember Scott Jund, he played Plague once when I was like really learning. And I was like, "Huh, you shouldn't do that." And I remember like it was like, "Oh yeah, you should just like spray it." And I was like, "What?" It was like is it Leonardo DiCaprio? I like stood up in my chair. I was like, "Wait a minute."
It's yeah. I think another thing they could do to the corrupt hits, because they don't have a sound effect on hit, do they?
No, they don't. That's something I want for a while. I want something like
a pyramid hit or like an unknown hit.
Yeah, like, something cool, like, that go hard.
Once again, I've talked about this before. Like, it's technically not a balancing thing. It's more just like a feel good thing.
Yeah,
right. It gives your brain that dopamine because it's like, oh, sound effect went off. Good. Like,
yeah. By the way,
mm-hmm.
In the gameplay right now, I'm watching on stream. I think her name is Elisa or whatever. She slow vaulted that. Never do that, especially if the pallet's infected. Never do that. We'll talk about that later. But you never want to make yourself more predictable against plague. Mm-hmm. Like her whole counterplay is her projectiles being very slow is the reason why plague's so, I guess, hard to play, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I got you.
But like the reason why people spray with plague is because they have trouble predicting, it's very difficult. They don't want to think. So, oh fuck, it's literally Scamper Brain. Oh fuck.
Go that far, but okay.
Okay. Forgetting that for a second. Where was I?
Not spraying, slow vaulting a pallet.
Okay. Yeah. So that makes it you become a very, very, very easy. Also, hi Tandy in chat. That's probably not good for the
it's fine, no
podcast.
You're good.
But it makes it is a very easy to determine velocity. It's a very easy trajectory to predict. It's very easy to track. You don't have to do something too insane. You don't have to like Metal Gear Revengeance fly around do all the fucking Blightmane shit. You don't need to do it. It is so simple. The biggest thing to plague. Here's the thing. In a video is completely unrelated, but it applies so well to plague, and I guess maybe Trickster a little. In a video by a creator called Uncle Dane for TF2,
mm-hmm.
He mentions against heavy that the main way to deal with a heavy is their aim is based on tracking. Right. And that's kind of the same thing with plague. If you get up really close to her, she cannot track properly. And especially like less so with vials, since she only needs to hit one, but you can really throw off her aim if you like imagine a little fly going across your screen. You got to keep it in the center of your screen for like 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's really difficult.
And unlike other killers, she can't just get out of her purge or her projectile as easily as the other ones. There's like a time limit.
Yeah. So that's partially the reason I think plague is so balanced and so like interesting. There's like so many different things you can do as a survivor against plague. Mm-hmm. Like there's just so much. But then again, I'm not a survivor, man. I just go against really good survivors occasionally. Thanks, MMR. But yeah, like basically, if you can like mess up her tracking, you're good. You're very good.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, and I asked people this one because I think it leads to interesting discussions. Because Plague actually has some pretty good ones. Her teachables.
I love them. I love them.
It's
Yay!
Corrupt Intervention, Infectious Fright, and what is her last
Dark
one?
Devotion.
Dark Devotion.
My favorite, my beloved. I love Dark Devotion.
So,
Obsession perks are sorely needed, I think. Like, I'm shocked that, like, there isn't anything... I mean, I guess Dying Light kind of does this, but, like, there's no real reason that the obsession... Like, I always thought, like, the obsession is, like, oh, the person you want to eliminate, right? But, like, all it really is at the end of the day is, like, oh, if you survive, you get 1,000 blood points. 1,500 blood points. It's free 1,500 blood points for just, like, passing selection, I guess.
Yeah, there's no real, like, in-game mechanic outside of perks that being the obsession really affects.
Yeah.
Which I think they kind of did on purpose, but at the same time, I would kind of like little itty bitty things for it, maybe. I can't think of any offhand. But I mean, they did release Friends to the End. That's probably the last obsession perk we've gotten in a little while.
Yeah.
And that's actually a unique one because much like Dark Devotion, it kind of it's one of the few obsession perks where you actually want to go for the obsession.
Yeah.
Most of the obsession perks, like Save the Best for Last and Play with Your Food, you kind of want to avoid them.
Play with your food, yeah. Play with your food on every other killer. It's like, oh yeah, just ignore the obsession. If you're on Plague, because she can keep stacks with both Vile Purge and Play with your food, it essentially, like, this meme build I'm working on, that's basically what you do is you just high-key harass the obsession. I don't know how else to describe it, but, like, you gain the stacks, and then you're like you're just going for grabs, and if you can't do that, you got like 2 stacks anyways, so it's fine. So,
but her, well, I guess what we'll say Dark Devotion for last because I feel like you have a lot to say about it. But Corrupt Intervention got the hammer. I still think it's really good, but it got the hammer in 6.1 with a lot of the other perks.
Yeah.
But even after that, I still think it's one of the best perks in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Its whole utility is forcing survivors to group up, which is something that rarely happens, especially against Plague. So, you know,
I don't even really use it. I just use it so they don't immediately hop on the gens.
Man, we got like 2 very different views in the perk, but like I guess like my whole view is like, you know, I am trying to be an active malicious threat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like it.
I've talked about this before with like slower characters like Chucky. Let's say I spawn in an Auto Haven on the other side of the map, and they're on the farthest gen away. If I don't have Corrupt, I physically cannot make it to them in time before they finish the gen.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like killers are like that as well. Like you mentioned Chucky, but like I mean, like it's kind of the same thing. Like imagine like I have Corrupt. I just can't fucking use it at that point. Like sure, I've won games with Vile, but like I would really like Corrupt, you know. I would really like Corrupt. I would really like Corrupt. And you know, you just can't use that. Elodie gets out here.
I've always had this idea in the back of my head that I feel like corrupt intervention in some way, shape, or form should be base kit. Because they've talked about before they wanted to do an early game kind of thing, to kind of slow down the early game on the survivor end, and they never did it because they didn't like how it resulted. I think the easiest solution would be just 60 seconds of corrupt base kit.
Yeah.
That would help so many killers.
I guess as well, at the time when they were testing that, like, they did have, like, Alcring Blight running around.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, I see no reason why not to test it now. Like, there's a bunch of changes I would have loved to go through. Yeah, like, the finisher Mori system. Mm-hmm. Hello, nurse. Hello.
Even like,
I would have loved.
Even like Base Kit Unbreakable, like don't get me wrong, the way they added it was terrible, but like why haven't we tried it again?
Yeah, I know it sounds really funny because like you probably see me on Twitter. It's like, oh, I love slugging, but like I think it's a genuine failure on the team if no one gets picked up, unless someone is literally standing on top of you, which is boring as hell. So like I think here's how I would do it. I know you said like, oh yeah, it's 60 seconds, you just stand up. I think that it should be relegated to how many people are more like obviously after like a minute you should stand up, or like a minute and 20 or something. I don't know.
I said a minute and 30 after you fully recovered. So it would be 2 minutes.
Ooh, I think it's way too much time to keep someone out, but like I think what I would do is if you down 3 people or like 4 people, a timer starts for like 20 seconds and it's like, okay, now you have to pick someone up. You know what I mean? Because like there's so many games I've just won because like here's the thing with Plague, right? You're thinking about so many other things that you legitimately forget when you've left someone. Like I've done that before.
Yeah, I do
like,
that
they haven't
all the
moved.
time. Yeah.
And like I feel like you should kind of get punished for like forgetting where people are and like mindlessly downing people, but I think like this is probably going to be really problematic, but I really don't like, I feel like it being base kit as well actually helps a whole lot. I think it should be a flat timer, like unbreakable, like exponential, doesn't matter. It should be a flat timer so you can actually predict, yeah, this is when someone stands up. I know particularly like Unbreakable's main strength against Plague is that you just can't predict it's in play. Like you just can't.
Right.
Like all the time. Like syringes, you can tell syringes are like fantastic against Plague. Like medkits as a whole are fantastic against Plague, but you know they're in play. But Unbreakable is such a counter to Plague because not only does it make the team not group up via slugging, which is pretty much the only method Plague has to get you to group up, but she also doesn't know it's in play unless you know, like, intentionally. It's like, oh, there's my buddy. There's my buddy. I know he runs like the full anti-slug build. Grr. You know, I can't slug him. Woe is me. But yeah, you just don't know it's in play, and I think that's the one criticism I have for it. I think flip flop as well is going to sound funny, but you know how brand new parts work now. I think they should work kind of like that, where like the timer as a whole is really quick, but it isn't just like flat progress. Because I'm not gonna lie, flip flop power struggle is ridiculously strong. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a silly little beat build. It's ridiculous.
It does something that I think people forget. If you have it and you can are in the right situation, it limits the killer's options.
Yeah.
Which is a massive, which can be a massive thing to help you winning a game.
Also, by the way, if you have a buddy, literally have that person loiter around the pallet with a flashlight. They literally can't do anything.
No.
They can't do anything because they either have to chase you and they get up, like by recovering, or they leave you and they get hit with a pallet stun.
That's why my idea for base kit Unbreakable was the 90 seconds plus the 30 for recovery, because it's 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If you have to leave someone on the ground for 2 minutes, I don't even care if someone's floating around with a flashlight. Just go chase them. At that point, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, they'll just chase me around the loop. If you can't catch that person and down them in 2 minutes, like, I don't care what killer you're playing, you're just bad.
Here's the thing, I think recovery as a whole is a resource, right? Like recovery, and because it's like you're either recovering, right? So the pressure stays there, or you crawl away so the pressure is reduced in that area, but you still take a while to pick up, and it's a resource like that. Funny little thing is that Plague can tell how recovered you are if this is a very funny detail, but you really shouldn't try and fully infect everyone at the start.
Mhm.
Like, Vile Purge as a whole is much more effective when you just, like, let it do its own thing. You know what I mean? Like, use Vile Purge to fully infect one person in Chase, for sure. But, like, don't be too hung up on getting everyone infected right at the start. Do not do that to yourself. In this clip, you can see on Ormond, by the way, I can tell Mia is on the gen in main. I just know because like that's the only gen I've infected, and that's part of the skill ceiling with like the infection system is just like you just know the sort of information, and ultimately it's you should let Vile do its own course. That's one of the main bits of advice is like don't spend way too much time like newer plagues spend way too much time trying to get everyone fully infected, and then it's like, oh, I wonder why there's only one gen with the entire map still up. Oh no. But
just they try people do this with a lot of killers. They try to treat them like super special in certain ways, and it's like, no, just play the game like you normally would. Just be aware that you can use your power in specific ways, and it'll still work out.
Yeah. I mean, if you can fully infect the team in like under a second, go for it, because like, like if you can do it really quickly, do it really quickly. That is insane pressure. But don't look for it. You know what I mean? I think there's a game I had today where I just grabbed Corrupt right out at the start because I got like Haddonfield 3 times in a row, like in one stream. And I was like, okay, fuck it. I just grab Corrupt and I like down 2 people and I chase someone else. And I think I lost that game as well. So I was just like, fuck it. Haddonfield is so boring.
But going back to the teachables though, I mean the other one, Infectious Fright. It's funny because I feel like Plague is one of the few killers whose teachables work really, really well on her.
Honestly, I feel like Behavior, when they were cooking up the Mice and the Faithful in the labs, was like, okay, how do we make it so our bouncing beautiful little like diseased riddled woman like has the best fucking time? And it was like, okay, we got it. We're gonna do the opposite of the Doctor. We're actually gonna make her teachables good. And they did. They made it fantastic. And yeah,
like I don't like I don't. I think Infectious is fine too. I think like it's information. It keeps the momentum of the game going. Like it works really well on a very select few killers, and I think that's perfectly fine. Honestly, I would rather us have more perks like that. Same with Corrupt. I mean, I've heard some people argue that Corrupt Intervention like isn't actually good.
On Plague?
On anyone.
Or in general?
In general.
Whoever that is clearly Herman Carter on an alt. My man?
But like I think those two in particular are really well designed. Even Dark Devotion. You don't see it very often, but it's still like it fills the niche of being a fun gimmicky perk that does its job.
And it does its job really well.
Yeah,
like, here's the thing about Plague, right? Like, that not a lot of people realize is that she is obscenely quiet. Like you listen to her breathing, and it sounds like Meg. The amount of survivors I've caught on gens because they're like, "Oh, hi, it's Meg." Oh, wait, what the fuck? You got leg extensions? And it's like, yeah, you just die. And it's like, okay. Like, the amount of times I've caught survivors like that is ridiculous. And I feel like Dark Devotion kind of sells that. It's like, oh, the Plague's running away. What do you mean she's in the room with me right now?
Does Dark Devotion work on special hits? Or is it only M1s?
Yeah, it works with Vile.
It does? Okay, just making sure. I wasn't 100%. Yeah, I mean, like, I think Dark Devotion is it 30 seconds?
I think, yeah, it's 30.
30? Okay, yeah. Like, I think for the effect it does, like, and a lot of killers can actually leverage that pretty decently well. Especially some of the faster ones, especially some of the quieter ones.
You put that on Doctor, man.
Yeah, fun fact about Doctor, did you know that his terror radius, is even when he's undetectable, still works? For, like, his shock? Did you know that?
Ooh. Like the static shock or his regular shock?
The static shock.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Like, I remember there was a point in time where it didn't work like that, right?
It's weird because I wish they would just add that to Legion.
I mean,
what would be the problem
yeah.
of Legion being able to see people while undetectable in Frenzy?
You know, the problem is, this is a joke, by the way. This is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
This is the joke. Legion players, don't come after me. But you're giving Legion players anything nice, and you know, like anything other than like plain oatmeal for them is too good. I'm joking. I love Legion players, but like,
Axolotl in my chat is a Legion man.
but no, honestly, I don't see any issues with that. I think the main problem I have with Legion is just like, you know, you vault pallet and you get hit, and then like, oh, your teamies coincidentally happen to be there, and it's like, oh, some random fucker on your team who is completely uninvolved in this engagement is now dead.
Like, I don't know. Also, your mic's roboting. You good? Hello.
I've got my mic wire is kind of like dying. It's kind of funky, and I just kicked it. So,
oh, okay. It's the solution to fixing all tech problems. Just kick it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think Plague's teachables are like all great, and they work on her, which is not a common thing with teachables.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, like it's I think I really wish more killers were like that, but and her teachables are like really good for other killers too. Like, I would recommend Corrupt to almost anyone. I would recommend even like Infectious Fright to almost anyone. Like, some killers use it better, obviously, but like it's never a bad option.
I too would recommend Infectious Fright on everyone for reasons that's probably not the reasons you're suggesting it.
Is it so you know when to slug with Knockout?
Don't get me started on Knockout. God, I hate Knockout. Oh my god, what a terrible perk. Oh my god. Okay, so like slugging is a strategy to get people to group up, right? It is a very good strategy. So they implement a perk that's like, yes, how do we buff slugging? Yes, let's make a perk that like only affects solo queue, and it just make.
Knockout is I've made a whole video on this. Knockout is the worst design perk in the entire game. It is unhealthy. It doesn't work with communication, and it encourages a playstyle that just shouldn't be encouraged. I'm a Knockout enjoyer. I used to run it all the time. I still do from time to time. I don't use it the way you're supposed to, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, no. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing I would love is if Knockout, like, if you hit someone, right, they don't know where you are. So what you would do, you knock someone out, you hook them, and if it disabled the bubble that comes up and disables the hook, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool. But it doesn't work like that. It's just like, yes, indubitably. I leave one survivor on the ground and then I go chase someone else, and some poor fucker has to play fucking Metal Gear Survive for 40 minutes to find him before he dies. It's like, oh my god.
The change to Knockout I would make is very simple. Just give it a timer on the aura. That's it. That's it. All the problems with it are fixed.
Yeah. I mean, it'd still be boring, but
yeah. But I mean, like, it wouldn't like cause problems like it does now. And the thing is, I've said this for a while with it. I think Knockout, the only reason no one talks about it or brings it up is because no one runs it.
Good.
But if Knockout became meta, everyone would start complaining about it.
I don't think I would ever leave the killer role. I'm not gonna lie. There's a wraith on my area called Pee Poo Poo. Okay, I've had an encounter with him, and I swear to God, the solo queue teammates I was paired with does not know how to counter slugging. All you have to do is there's these funny little things on the map. You know, the dredge uses them. You do a dredge cosplay. You know, you just hide inside it. You just hide inside it, and you're big chilling. Massively chilling.
I had a build, and I still use this from time to time on Ghostface for knockout. So Ghostface has an add-on called Outdoor Security Camera.
Oh, that's the one that reveals people, right?
So if you down somebody when they're fully exposed, you see everyone's aura on the map. There's no range.
I kind of fuck with that.
So what you do is you run knockout, and then you down that person, and now you know if anyone's nearby to see them. If you don't see anyone nearby, leave them and then go for the next person.
That's evil. That's evil. You've just made. I was like, oh, I'm a big fan of the strategy. I'm a big fan of the strategy. You know, you like sneak up on people. They don't actually know you're there. But it's like, yeah, so I'm just gonna leave them with the ground again. I mean, oh man,
it's like I said, it's probably. I think honestly, I do think that combination is one of the best uses of knockout. And I don't like slug them for 4 minutes, right? Like I will eventually go pick them up.
Yeah.
But I like doing that because the reason I do use knockout when I do is because, especially with like that aura reading, it lets me keep my momentum. I don't have to waste time hooking.
Man after my own heart. Sorry.
It's the reason why I enjoyed remote hooking during the event.
Dude, I love that. I wish it was like a hex or something. Oh my god, hooking people, like, oh my god, it takes so much time, and I'm just like
I do think like it could, like unlike the event, I don't think you should be able to do it pretty much every hook, but like I think being able to do it like 3 or 4 times a match would be fine.
Yeah, I see no problems with that.
My caveat to it would be it doesn't activate hook perks. That would be the only caveat I have to it.
Oh man, imagine you hook someone and it's just like oh guys, we're gonna get this gen done. Oh, they got a grab. We're gonna get the gen. Whoop! Pan res. It's like, oh fuck.
It was no. Like on during the anniversary, it was finicky whether or not it did work on hook perks. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. It was really weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess talking about perks leads us into builds. Is there a general build you run most of the time?
Ooh, I like a bit of everything. Like Plague has the luxury of basically taking like having access to pretty much every perk, and she can just like, yeah, fuck it, we bowl. You know what I mean? Like she can rock everything. Like except like Sloppy Butcher and Gift of Pain, which is actively one of the worst perks you can run for her. But I think I've, especially with the distortion meta, I've really started rocking with the unforeseen surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that is disgusting. You put a hematite on that as well. Oh man, you just immediately know when someone's on that. And it's like, yes.
Also, that actually reminded me of something. I didn't bring this up with the Plague changes. So there has been some discussion in the community about Plague basically negating an entire build play style and item, because
if we're talking about medkits, I'm going to have some very strong words with the community.
Here's my thing with this. Here's my solution. Because she does straight up negate all healing perks. She negates all medkits. And, you know, the survivors have no way of knowing who they're going against, so they can't even plan ahead. Would it be out of the realm of possibility to make it so that some of that healing speed and things like that transfer to how fast they do a fountain?
I see no problem with that. I honestly, I think the whole problem with that statement is that healing is useless against Plague. Like, I think you said it in one of your own podcasts where, like, gamers are selfish.
Yes.
Like, you have to... I think it's genuinely that. Like, sure, styptics don't work against Plague, but syringes do. Mm-hmm. You know? And gamers, like... gamers don't like helping their team. And here's another thing. Gamers don't like looking up. We'll get to that later. Gamers don't like looking up. But, like, medkits... You go in, you rock, you can pick up slugs super quick. Super quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll make it. Slugging, basically nothing. Again, it's like 6 seconds. Like all these altruistic perks. I mean, unless you're running, like, Resurgent Solidarity. If that's the case, get fucked, I guess. But, Yeah, no, like a large majority of the healing perks, like a lot of people don't think about it. Like, if she's got corrupt, you basically negate her pressure if you're playing smart. And I think that's the problem. It's like people like their medkits to, like they like scurrying off to heal off the full, and that's.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just like it's the same thing with like why people hate Lightborn. It's like you're bringing in a thing that's negating something I'm bringing in completely, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I mean, yeah, I do think it is
like
kind of infuriating. It's kind of like Calm Spirit and Distortion, actually. Like, no,
yeah,
like
oh yeah, I complete them all the time. I've compared Distortion and Lightborn all the time.
Yeah, I get it. I think as well is I think you should like play like this is going to sound very controversial, but another change I would love for Plague is there would be I don't know how you would implement this. Like I've toyed with reducing her terror radius with every single like person at max infection, so you had a reason to cleanse. So basically what I would like so she would have access to her purges more often, but more access to corrupt means healing is a lot better to as an option. And not that it isn't an option now, by the way. Like hyper cleanse is possibly it's one of the strongest strategies you can do against plague, but the only problem is like you need to everyone. Oh, sorry about.
You good?
Did I bump the mic again? No, I didn't. Okay, I should probably put this on a second monitor. Oopsie daisies. Yeah, no, I was getting super into that. Basically, hyper cleanse is one of the strongest things you can do against plague, and it really does open up healing as an option. Basically, hyper cleanse is forcing every single like fountain on the map to go red, which gives her corrupt. Basically, if you've got like if you see she's got apples or something, you can organize as a team, right? Have one person run off to an area where you know there's no fountains. Then, as you're doing that, have everyone cleanse. And when she picks up or something, have two people cleanse at the same time. So she has corrupt. Now, the person on hook obviously has a plague. She's like nearby, right? But the pressure from the added risk of extra corrupt goes completely out the window. And then suddenly you're just dealing with regular plague again. And I think that's one of the strongest things. Like straight up, it will take a 4K, a plague that's about a 4K, into a plague that gets like a 1K at most. It is seriously insane.
Well, the one problem with everything that was just said though, and it's two words. Solo queue.
Yes, solo queue. Yeah.
And I mean, like we're not going to be able to. I've said this before. You can't really fix that, but yeah. But I mean, like I really don't know what. Like I said, like I would be cool if they made it so anything you have that like increases healing speed, can be used on a fountain as well to increase the speed you do it at, or something like that. Or maybe maybe like with medkits, like maybe you can sacrifice your medkit at a fountain and instantly do it or something.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Like,
that'd be cool.
That doesn't like eliminate the issue, but it means like your item isn't completely useless. Your build isn't completely useless.
Yeah. That's a cool thing. I haven't really thought about because it would fit like in the Tomb Raider trailer how she like has a like a little key in the fountain. I think that would be really cool. Like you offer up an item. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, I think honestly giving her better access to her purges not only would make playing her a lot more entertaining because you actually get a power.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Revium, one of my buddies, we like he was talking in his stream. He was like, "Oh yeah, I want that," and it was like, I really adore Plague in her current form. I also really adore her mechanics. I do want to use my purges more often, but I'm not too sure how you would do that without, Trickster 2 rework Trickster.
You could make it. I mean, we talked about it a little bit with the changes. You could make it kind of like a swap stance where Like when she's in Purge, a lot of things change, or in Corrupt, a lot of things change. Like she gets an increased terror radius. Maybe her movement speed is a little bit slower. Um, maybe when she does it, survivors like get uninfected but stay injured. Um, like I'm just spitballing. I'm just throwing shit at the wall. But like, there's a lot of things you could do. I feel.
Ooh, you've given me an idea actually. That you know how you said like, oh yeah, everyone just becomes injured when she grabs corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I would think if they were to do that, what you would do is the more survivors you have infected, the more time you have with corrupt. So as soon as you grab corrupt, boom, you have like eight like stupid amount of corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like suddenly healing is now viable against plague. I think that would be really cool. I don't think movement speed or terror, like a massive terror radius, would be any better.
I'm
But
not saying necessarily massive, but like kind of bit, like maybe increase it by like 6 meters or something.
yeah, I think 32 meters is legitimately perfect for the amount of risk plague is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think turning her into Mr. Mr. Like, are you trying to make me angry?
Right, right. Well, and you know my idea with the whole healing thing or the injured thing. It's like she gets corrupt. Like if you're already injured and infected or whatever, you stay injured, but the infections go away.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the only thing I will say about that is it would make Vile a lot more strategic. So I'd think about that. I honestly, you know what? That's given me an idea. I haven't thought about that before. So
well,
I think that rework video is still on the table.
because
And
like you could also do that because that would also mean like, let's say strategically speaking on the survivor side, you do the fountain on the farthest end of the map, and that's the only one that's been done. Plague goes over and gets her power. She's all the way on the other side of the map. You can now heal because you're not
as a team,
infected. Yeah, well, no, in general, you would be able to heal. She's all the way on the other side of the map.
yeah.
And you're no longer infected, you're just injured.
Yeah, and I think that would also give like if it gave more time, if everyone was infected, it would actually give her more time. Like it'd be time for you guys to heal up and it'd give Plague like a bunch of dead time to play with because like, you know, like it'd be like 20 seconds to travel on over and then you have 60 seconds with corrupt. I think that's actually really cool. I need to nail out the specifics with that, but I think that's a solid idea actually.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't think it's that big of a deal that you can't use medkits or healing stuff against plague. But I also think like the fact that she's pretty much the only, because even Legion, like you don't want to heal against Legion, but you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, I'm much more thankful that healing against plague is this whole thing because like the amount of teams I've seen heal against Legion, it's basically just like the best gen perk in the game. You know what I mean? Like Legion just kills you if like straight up it encourages the team to group up and like healing as a whole.
Speaking
kind of unless you got a med kit, but it's a period of time where survivors are grouped up on the map, right? And you don't really think about it, but Plague does not have that time.
Right.
She just doesn't, unless she is slugging. That's why Plague's slug. So I think that would actually kind of address why Plague's slug as well, if everyone, like, it gives you more time.
Yeah. Speaking of gens, this does bring up another topic that we didn't really bring up. Thanatophobia.
Ew.
Okay.
Ew.
Okay. Before we get into this, let me make this clear. Thanatophobia, even on Plague and Legion, is a terrible perk.
I agree.
However, they are the only two killers who can reliably use it.
I think that is still a problem.
I think that is 100% a problem. Do you know what Thanatophobia? I was talking about this, I think last night actually, with the nurse main. Do you know what Thanatophobia is? Like what the actual phobia is?
The fear of death.
It's the fear of death. Here's my idea to rework it. Because the problem with Thanatophobia right now is you can't buff the numbers. Because the only two killers who use it are Legion and Plague. And they would, and I'm being hyperbolic, but they're the only two killers who can reliably use it. And the problem is when you buff the numbers, we have that that 1 week where that's all we saw was Legion with Thanatophobia. Here's my rework for it, and it also kind of fixes some of its issues. Make it like 8% per person on Death Hook.
Ooh, yeah, that maybe.
Well, here's the other thing with that: it would go away once they die. So it would be
maybe
it would be a perk that encourages you not to tunnel someone out of the game. It would reward you for not doing that, and it would be a perk that encourages you to split the hooks up.
I mean, true, but 8%. I mean, 8% for 4, but I think that's like a dying light situation. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Put it into the ground. I agree. Put it in the ground. It's not even good for forcing survivors to cleanse, which is another reason plagues run it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, just put it in the dirt. Put it in the dirt.
It's just a flawed perk. You can't adjust the numbers. You just can't. It's either too good or too weak. There's no middle ground with it.
Yeah. I had someone on my Thanatophobia video. I made a whole like video on it because like, oh my god, I really do not like that perk.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is genuinely unhealthy, and not only is it very unhealthy, it is also very bad. Another thing, like thinking about it, is like you really shouldn't run around looking for looking for everyone infected, because not only does it put a really big hamper on your skill ceiling as plague, but it straight up is like you burn a lot of time, and like someone was like, you should know, like you should do this, and it's like, guess I'm oogly goo. You know, it's
I mean, did they have a valid reason, or did they just say you should do this?
I mean, they did phrase their comment with the words "you fucking idiot," I think. So you know,
nothing they said mattered anyways. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're this far in, I want you to leave a comment saying Adirus Plague is my actual biological mother. That exact sentence. Anyway.
Fucking Litman's test. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the comment is like, you telling people to not run a perk that synergizes naturally with a killer that keeps survivors injured in Gen Rush meta. If you're new to Plague, run Thana as your only slowdown. But like, here's the thing: newer Plagues, they're making a whole lot of mistakes, and I feel like encouraging survivors like newer Plagues to engage in a playstyle that will ultimately harm their pressure for a little bit, like a 20% debuff. It's just not good optics. You know what I mean? It's just
someone's done the math. Doesn't Fanata like overall save you like 15 seconds?
Something like that.
Like once again, it's not even necessarily that it doesn't say. It's just the numbers are bad too. Like it's not worth running.
Yeah.
Like and once again, like I said, you can't buff it, because if you buff it, we run into the situation of Legion every match with it, right? And then the game just becomes miserable.
You want an actual build that synergizes naturally with Plague? Fearmonger and Blood Echo. Oh my god. The amount of free cleanses that gets you is it is quite spicy. It is quite spicy.
Thoughts on Terminus?
Oh, Terminus. That is something I've still yet to wrap my thoughts around. I love cleansing, but the thing is, it tells survivors when it's in play. So it's like, survivors who are actually paying attention won't cleanse. So I guess it's beneficial if you're running it on its own, for sure. But if you're running it with no way out, just let them cleanse. You know what I'm saying? And like obviously you'll have the one person who's like listening to Blackpink or something, and you know like they end up like cleansing. It's like, oh, I wonder why I'm broken.
I just like it for I just like it as like a trump card.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like my playstyle of Plague is very much like power orientated. Like I just love using my power. I love the infection system. I love the Plague. My actual wife, IRL wife. But
I'm not checking your search history, by the way.
All you're gonna find is like highly compressed images of the clown that gets like slightly lower in quality. But anyway,
I think this kind of leads into talking about Thanato state of the game. So I asked this question a lot, and at the moment there's a lot of bugs going on that kind of dates this. That will be gone in a few days. Apart from that, rest in peace, Genbug. Apart from that, the general state of the game, what is your thoughts on it? Do you think it's in a good place, a bad place?
I think overall it's progressively getting better, but then again, my killer has been bugged for months, and then they tried to gaslight me over it. So I feel like I'm very much upsetty spaghetti about that.
Does Decisive still take her out of power?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But you know what does? Head on. Head on does it still. Oh. Yeah, head on still takes you out of it.
I mean, once again, I kind of think Decisive should. I think any stun should. But the fact that it's not every stun is kind of...
I think... Okay, here's the thing. Decisive Strike is... Like, you can... Here's this short little tech, right? I mean, not every Plague is going to use it to pick up out of power. So I think head on, I don't think it should remove her out of it. I don't think that should. Mainly just because losing what can be your only source of corrupt for an entire match to something you literally could not predict doesn't feel nice. It's the same thing with Blast Mine as well. I think there's a notorious clip, if Karma's still in here. Like, he can probably, like, laugh at it, because, like, I go up, I rock up, it's Garden of Joy, I've got my power, I'm ready to rumble, I go up, I know there's a Jill there, so I'm ready to get, like, Nowhere to Hide, which is a very busted perk, by the way, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a nice little shot, I just need Nowhere to Hide, I kick the Gen Blast Mine, they pop it in front of my face, I was, I thought, like, on the surface, it feels like a good change. It really does. It really does. It feels like a fantastic change. The problem is in gameplay, it just makes her feel worse. And making a killer that already isn't that user-friendly feel worse, that's not really good. And I know, brave and stunning opinion from the Plague main over here. I think, like, here's the thing, right? Like going down on a pallet, stunning Plague with DS, and then waiting, and then stunning her again with a pallet stun. Seriously, that is how you cause a DC. I'm not even trolling. Like you cause a DC with that. Like, not only is it, like, I'm not getting tunneled, but you don't get a power anymore. It's, oh, man. It's only happened once. I think it happened today as well. Oh, man. It never feels good. It never feels good. But, yeah, I feel like Decisive Strike was the only one I feel like probably should have. Like, I've always felt like Decisive Strike should disable... Like, when it was 3 seconds, I was like, okay, I probably should just disable, like, a killer's power or something for a little bit. You know, like the problem with that was like, oh, yeah, Blight exists. Like, Plague exists, too. And then, like, they made it, like, get your power removed. And I was like, eh.
I mean, I think that the problem with me with it is just consistency. Why does this stun do it and this one doesn't?
One is a little glass shard surgically inserted into her dead necrotic's flesh, and then the other one is a massive plank of wood directly dropped onto her eggshell head, and it like reverberates like a bell in her side of her head, and like she loses concentration with all the whispers in the entity, and she's just thinking like, man, I quit my 9 to 5. And you know, I was like the priest for ages. What the fuck am I doing here? Elodie Rakoto is harassing me. I'm sad. I want to go cry in the basement with Shaq. It's fine.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think Blast Mine should do it, but like, head-on decisive strike and a pallet drop, I feel like should. I think Blast Mine would be the one exception, and the reason for that is because technically it's not a stun, it's a blind.
No, it's both.
I know, but I mean, like from like a consistency perspective, I could see Blast, like someone being like, well, Blast Mine doesn't work because it's a blind.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, why? What about the other two? Like, why they?
I think.
Go on.
The main thing is Plague's power is it's macro in a sense for sure, and the whole dichotomy. Like, are you aware of the term Plague Chicken?
No.
Well, Plague's whole power is very, very heavily countered by just being a good looper, right? And like throwing her off with projections, right? Like it's the slowest moving projectile in the game, both of the purges. It's slow to charge up, it's slow to fire. You know, you can get away with a lot with Plague. So I feel like juggling that, so you take a while, so you have to avoid like pallets, you have to avoid lockers, you have to like try not to like pick up someone with 59 seconds of decisive. It's a lot of like thinking you have to give a Plague when the engagement should be like, okay, I need to lock in and chase here. I need to predict what the survivor's going to do. We shouldn't predict what Jade Romero is doing. Like she's just on fucking Instagram and it's like, oh fuck, Plague's here. Okay, time to head on. You know, it's like, oh, okay, dude.
But I mean, other than like the feeling of and like the adding the dimensions to it, like I like I said, like, but consistency wise, like let's say you're a new player and you're playing against Plague, and you head on stun them and they don't, and let's say it was working like it's supposed to, and you don't knock them out of their power. Wouldn't that be a little confusing that doesn't, but a pallet? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of my buddies who absolutely hates DBD, I tried getting him into it, and he was like, "Why doesn't this work?" And I was like, I guess my main thing is just like pallets are heavy. that's my only logical.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, like, and I like once again I can kind of see that, but it's like I don't know. Like, do I think it needs to happen like immediately or at all? No, probably not. But like, I'm just thinking it's just like my problem with Vecna has a similar thing to this. Did you know that Vecna's punishment of the damned, little Skellymans? Did you know if they hit somebody, he doesn't lose save stacks?
I didn't know that. No, that's
why
quite stupid, isn't it? It's quite stupid.
I know why. But like from a general like perspective, why?
I don't know. I think they should just slap Vecna in his bald head, just like slap it like a drum. Oh man.
Does Plague lose save stacks if someone gets infected? I know you probably never run save on her, but
I haven't ran it in a while. I have not. I could not tell you. I could not tell you.
I assume she does. Because Deathslinger loses them when like he just steals somebody.
But here's the thing, she doesn't lose it with vials, so I'm guessing with Corrupt she would. She doesn't play with your food with vials, so I guess...
No, that's what I'm saying. Does she lose save stacks if she infects somebody with vial?
I have no... dude, imagine like imagine you got 8 stacks of fucking Save the Best Last, and you try to use Vial on a Survivor, and you just lose all of it with like 25%. Oh man, that would suck.
I mean, once again, it doesn't, in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter, because no one's running Save the Best for Last on Plague, unless they're crazy like I am.
I could do that too. I could do that too.
But yeah, I mean, like, and bringing this back around to like state of the game, I think like consistency wise for a lot of things, they have definitely been getting better. I think there's a lot of interactions that make more sense now than they used to.
Yeah, here's the thing with the stun changes is I feel like it would be good if Plague had more ready access to Corrupt, but she doesn't. So, you know, you really don't want to give. I don't know. The not so good feeler maker woman is gonna feel not so good. So, I think consistency wise, I feel like there's a lot of things Plague has to do, and I feel like juggling so many different status effects is not the right direction for a character that's like seriously one of the most complicated in the game, I would say. Like, at least with all the things you can keep track of. Like, I mentioned infection tracking earlier. I think I sent you a good example of that, and maybe we'll break that down later. But basically, if you weren't aware, Plague has 3 infection rate. Like, everyone knows, like, oh yeah, if you walk, you don't progress the infection. But the other 2 is if you're. That. Oh, you didn't? Okay, yeah. Well, now you know. Yeah, you don't progress the infection if you're walking, crawling, hiding in a locker, or what was the other one? Don't remember. Oh, crouch walking. Yeah, that's the other one. It says obvious, but sometimes you have to say these things. Anyway, so that, like, you don't progress it then, but if you're just normally working on something, if you're just infected, like, say you get infected at 1%, it will take 50 seconds to reach max infection. However, if you're working on something contaminated, it takes 20. Hold on, let me bring up my big document Plague notes. 24 seconds. It takes 24 seconds to reach full infection if you're working on something like contaminated. So you can use that dichotomy of how quickly it takes to get someone infected, like how long it takes someone to reach max infection, to tell exactly where they are. Obviously that's like advanced elite level gamer Plague stuff. But yeah, that's one thing, and I feel like constantly having to juggle, like the Vile Purge and then Corrupt and then everything else, it really does make Plague a much less appealing option. But yeah, and consistency wise, like, if she had more ready access to Corrupt, for sure. But I think they're never gonna go down that route. Mainly because I'm praying they don't go down that route, because I saw what happened to Trickster, and God bless the poor Trickster players. I feel them. Because I have called Trickster. I'm probably gonna get shot for this, but I have called him Diet Plague for so long, and then the fact that he got turned into not Diet Plague and he got turned into Man with Knives is it's sad. It's very sad.
I mean, Rev's playing him again right now. Rev has been playing Trickster again right now. A lot of the Trickster players started playing him again.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like losing something you love. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
It's like it's with the projectile piercing bug. It's like muscle memory that you've developed for thousands of hours suddenly gets ripped out from under you. It's, for something that's ultimately worse, is never.
What is Plague's pick rate? Is it decently high?
I don't think so. Yeah, let me go on Nightlight real quick.
I'm genuinely curious, because like I feel like she's like a middle of the road killer as far as pick rate goes.
Pick rate is 1.59%. 1%. The only person playing Plague is me. But no. Yeah. 1.59. 30 to 629 games. I mean, she's more popular than Dredge, Artist, Freddy, Trickster, Twins, and Hag, but that's like,
she's at the bottom, but she's like at the top at the bottom.
Not really. I would say like Singularity is top of the bottom. No, Demo actually.
Demo is down that low?
Well, Demo's at like 1.8% pick
Okay.
rate. So
Hmm.
if we're talking about bottom of the barrel, like it's either Cinnabite or Goober. So,
But yeah, I mean, I think, I think the the way the desert or the direction the game is going, um, from the Trickster rework to like, I mean, even the Twins rework that didn't go through. Like, I think those two were like potholes, but for the most part, I do still think the game is going in a better direction, especially over the past year or so. Like,
yeah.
I'm genuinely excited when I read an update most of the time.
Dude, this sounds embarrassing, but every time I get really annoyed every time something is like leaked early because like it's a little event for me. You know what I mean? I got like a little bit like a little bag of popcorn. I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know, like I'm a little goober about these things, and I really don't like that things get leaked. And I'm very happy. Uh, you know, things are going the way they're going. You
I
know
mean,
what I mean?
Laura got leaked.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I was like high on copium for the entire thing, and I was like, nah, bruh, it's also she got leaked like the day before she was supposed to release. So
Technically, she did, and I actually once again, this is a not me tooting my own horn. Doing this series, I have met or I have gotten in contact with a lot of different people. I knew it was Laura on the anniversary.
oh damn. I was really high on copium. I was like, yo, guys, it's Isaac Clarke, it's my boy the entire time. I didn't believe it. Like I had to write an assignment on like leaks and stuff like that, and I did it on the Laura leak, but even then I didn't believe it. I was like, okay, he's coming out
do
tomorrow,
you
boys.
do you really want an engineer as a survivor?
Dude, I think it'd be fucking hilarious. Are you trolling? Like
Okay,
like you curb stomp Victor?
all right. Listen to this. Listen to this about an engineer. If it's an engineer, all of his perks would be gen perks.
Okay, but here's the thing
Uh
about
huh.
Isaac. Like all of his kit is like improvised work tools. So it'd be like flashbang, right? Like it would be stuff like you work on gens and then you could do this one thing, like you know, like chemical trap and stuff like that. That's how I thought it would be. But also Isaac Clarke is like he's he's kind of like the like personification of like the indomitable human spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's just your boy. And like I've thought about it, and like I even came up with my own perks for Isaac. If it sounds funny, but like I had one where like if everyone is hooked or slugged, he would like every time he would stun the killer, they would have like ink like they would recover faster until the point they would like stand up and shoot like he would like be able to recover exhaustion while running and stuff like that. So
That would
I
be
thought that would be cool.
that would
Um
be nuts.
it'd be fucking busted, don't get me wrong.
Oh my god,
But
that would
like
be
that's
fucking insane.
but yeah, no, like I don't know, like I don't know. I was high on copium. Come on, man. Come on, man.
When I think of
But like,
Isaac Clarke, like I get it. Don't get me wrong about the human spirit thing, but I think of a MacGyver kind of character, right?
oh yeah,
Makes nothing out of or makes something out of nothing. And when I
yeah.
think of that, I'm thinking he's doing gens and doing something to them. The only other thing I can think of is like maybe a perk that has something to do with walls, which I'm surprised we haven't gotten one, honestly.
I think okay. So they actually came out. This is really funny because this actually ties into plague. This actually ties into plague. Lore accurate. Okay, so they removed the ability to contaminate walls because they said they moved away from survivors being able to do anything with walls. That's why we lost the ability to contaminate things. Also, there was a patch where that came back, and you were able to infect hooks, which was insanely busted. It very gross patch, very gross patch. You were able to infect actually everything. It was crazy.
I, I
Uh,
I just like when I didn't know Laura's perks. I just knew it was Laura on the anniversary. But um, the thing with it is, I thought she was gonna have like something with her pickaxe where she could like break walls as a survivor, because some walls you do want survivor to be broken as survivor. Um,
Yeah.
So like I could see that being decently used. I also thought she was gonna have something where like she would like rebuild pallets.
You know, I actually thought Isaac would have something like
Yeah,
that.
I was
Like
gonna say.
every broken pallet, like you would like scurry on up and pick like scraps of wood, and then you'd make like, you know, like the party pallets
Mhm.
from the event. And like I think that would be kind of fitting, actually.
I mean, like the only other thing I can think of for Isaac is like you said, something to do with stunning too. I could see him definitely doing it because it would be kind of like the stasis.
Yeah.
Um,
Although we don't actually want to give him fucking stasis. Jesus Christ.
could you
Oh man.
imagine? Could you imagine if they power crept chemical trap, and instead of a trap you put on the pallet, there's a perk that makes it so when you stun a killer, they're hindered for like 2 seconds.
You mean Champion Alliance?
Yeah, but you gotta aim a
Okay.
flashlight.
Yeah.
And...
I also had another thing for Isaac, and it sounds really funny because I wanted this to be a perk for a while. So I wanted a perk where if you had an item, you could throw it at the killer and it would get like instantly break. But depending on the amount of charges you had on the item, it would be that long of a stun. So if you had like so little charges that it's like under a second, it like you wouldn't be able to stun them out of it. But if you had like a commodious toolbox with like wire spool and you just fucking throw that at the killer, it's like 5 seconds.
Just make Pebble stun. I feel like Pebble should stun.
I feel like it should just make it like a dink. You know what I mean?
A
Like you
dink.
throw at the killer. Yeah, no, like you know how like in Call of Duty it's like a hit marker.
It's just not the pink.
Yeah.
I love that. Make Pebble good again. Forever. Make it good ever. Yeah, Isaac Clarke could be interesting. That would just be my only fear is that because he's an engineer, a lot of the perks would center around
Yeah,
generators.
I feel like they would Flanderize them, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, will we be? I feel like as long as we take it from like Dead Space 2, it's fine.
Honestly, for the lore of like an Isaac Clarke chapter, I would hope like it would be like the like it would be like the lore of the first 3 games, including like the DLC. But as soon as the Brethren Moon hit Earth, it would be like the entity takes him away, but he puts him in like all the crossovers, like Skate 3 and all that. Like just makes reference to like the fact that he met Kratos and also beat Zeus. I think that'd be so fucking
They
funny.
do the thing they did in Ragnarok where Kratos like mentions PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because like canonically, like Isaac Clarke beat Zeus. Like how the fuck did he do that?
He's Isaac Clarke.
He's just him. He's just him.
He's Isaac Clarke. Also, I'm so sad that Dead Space 2 remake isn't happening.
Oh, oh man, you had to remind me, huh?
Yeah, I bought the remake. I did it.
Oh, dude, I did that too. I like. Okay, so they didn't say it was off the table, but there's no plans for it now, which is like corporate speak. Like, yeah, get fucked, idiot.
It's just so sad. Dead Space 2 is a masterpiece, and I would love to see it in a modern scope.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, like the remake, I think that's like the definitive way to play the first game. I'm not gonna
it
lie.
is. It is. I 100% agree. I tried playing the first game again. It's not terrible. It's just like
I
why?
love that Isaac actually has a character.
Oh yeah, for sure. He
Like,
technically did in the original. It was just in the notes.
yeah, I like. It's gonna write who voices him. Like, I found her like. Speaking of voice acting in DBD, I thought it'd be really funny, like if Isaac Clarke had specifically a voice line for running out of charge on a flashlight. Like, say you're trying to blind a killer, and like he runs out, he's just like CEC piece of shit, you know?
It's like the best
like
line in the remake.
yeah. I thought it'd be really funny. Like it sucks that you can't hear voice lines for like on either side. I mean, there's a few like if you hop out of a locker for sure, you shouldn't be able to hear. But I think like
the more you bring up Isaac Clarke, because I'm sitting here thinking like you could even do like the health system.
Oh,
with
you have the rig on the back.
Yeah, like he could have the health system with like his hook states or something that.
Yeah, I was thinking more so of where like it'd be like blue when he's fully healthy, like yellow when he's injured, and then like red when he's on the ground.
Or like it's actually like his healing progress.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you're if you're like injured with no healing progress, it's red, but like
Yeah.
as you get the progress, it slowly goes up.
Yeah. I had a thought that like if they ever did a Dead Space DLC, like behavior like this is like a dream. Like behavior put out like a PSA to like let Isaac players know that you cannot fight the killer. Like they would just chase him down and like beat the shit out of him.
I mean, I think that would be my only other problem with Isaac is I don't know if they could do him justice in this game.
Yeah. Unless like okay, I had a thought where like they would change his animations for a couple of other things. Like, you know, like Victor, like you know how they like just kick him like once, like they like Isaac would fucking curb stomp him twice. You know, I
Like,
think that's the only one he would change, right? Like the only one he can change.
I mean, like he could probably like do something special with generators as far as the animation goes, or
Yeah,
like I don't know. That would be my only problem. And like I could still see them adding it. And I know some people would want a necromorph as a killer, but I think Isaac would work better as just a survivor.
yeah.
Because I don't think necromorphs are deep enough to make a whole killer around it.
I mean, there's the it's not the regenerator from the remake. Like that's like an actual character.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at the logs, it's like he's actually trying to hurt people because he was like shoved into like he was bullied by the miners, and he's like hardcore Unitologist. Like I think they could do him, but then there's also like I would have thought like here's a thought. Like the only killer I think they could do, and this you might yell at me for this, it would be Nicole.
That would be so boring. That would be
But
so
like
boring.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's the same thing for my Darkest Dungeon chapter. It wouldn't actually be Nicole or like the ancestor. It would be like the marker, the Brethren moons slowly taking over the entity's realm and using the most like using the entity's most prominent subject to influence everyone there,
Wasn't
right?
wasn't Nicole like canonically not affected by the marker that much though?
No, but Nicole appeared to Isaac, like especially in Dead Space 2, where Nicole is literally the conduit for like
Oh,
the
oh,
markers
I'm
and the
so
Brethren Moon.
sorry. I was thinking of who's the villain in the first game?
Oh, the
The
it's not
spy.
Doctor Kine.
Oh my god, no,
Oh,
not Kine.
Daniels.
No, no, yeah,
I
Daniels. I was thinking
I
of
love
Daniels. I was like, that would be boring as well. No, Nicole.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I can see Nicole. Okay, that makes more sense.
like here's the funny thing. I love how the remake went like made Daniels actually kind of likable. Like in the first game, she's such a dick, but like
Yeah,
in the remake, like especially because they cover like convergence and stuff like that. It's like oh shit, like she actually has a point. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's the fact that
Even like the her death scene. Like I actually kind of teared up a little bit.
I was like, no, that's my best friend. Who it's like Hitman. It's like when like Diana. It's like, oh, you're betraying me again. This is like the 47th time this fucking arc. All right, thanks, Diana, my best friend.
I would be down for necromorph skins though. I don't know who would get it, but I would be totally down for that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess this does kind of bleed into the state of the game though, as far as like some of the survivors they've been getting, the solo survivors, which is something I think we need to get more often, and I'm glad we have been. Like Alan Wake, Laura, Nick Cage, like they've all been perfect in my opinion. And that's part of the reason why like I wouldn't mind them trying a Dead Space chapter or something like that. I still don't know how they would do him justice in this game.
I guess they would just give him a ton of voice lines. Like seriously the most in the game. Like you know how like in the remake where like as soon as the like what he says is like come on then this is all I've got left. I've imagined that like you are the last survivor alive and the killer starts chase with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
that would be
that like
badass.
yeah, I think making like Isaac like his voice lines make you feel like okay, I'm ready to fucking take on anyone. You know what I mean? I think that would go so hard.
I will say one thing about the voice line or him being voiced in the first game. He is very He's unbelievably calm at the beginning of that game with the voice lines sometimes, I feel. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing. He just seems unbelievably, like, cool with everything that's going on.
Honestly, I thought it was just him trying to remain calm under pressure. You know what I mean? Like he was like holy shit. Like, oh, so by the way, like if you didn't know, if you're injured in that game, he has different voice lines for
Yeah,
it. Like
yeah.
you like
No, it's three. He has one for healthy, injured, and on death.
oh wow,
Yeah, yeah. That was
dude,
a very nice touch.
I love how like EA's like gonna write. They're like, yo, why don't like let's not get a voice actor. Let's just get some like random guy. Let's get Isaac Clarke IRL and just fucking torture him in the studio. It's fine. Like,
Um,
like the what you call it, the his speech to Nicole at the end of Dead Space 2. I've never heard someone sound more angry, like ever.
Gunnar, has he done anything else?
I know he was in a movie lately, but he doesn't do much. Sadly, I don't even think he's on Twitter. Like I try to follow him because I'm a little fanboy.
Very strange. I figured he would have been. I mean, I guess this is the thing with Dead Space too. I think, or Dead Space also. I think a lot of us forget. As much as we think it's like this amazing masterpiece of a game, and it is, it's still not that popular.
Sadly, God, fuck.
But like
EA and their properties. Oh my god.
But what?
Oh,
I mean, they can't fix that.
I mean, okay, like the first Dead Space game, it released in between like 8 different titles with the word dead in it. So,
Yeah, but even like the second one is often hailed as like one of the best games ever made.
Yeah, but I guess it's like Alan Wake, right? Where Alan Wake is considered like it's niche, but it's like a cult classic, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like Dead Space would get in on the fact that it is like it is so good. Like,
I mean, maybe I don't even know if I would consider Dead Space a cult classic because I feel like it's popular enough. I don't know, that line is very hard to straddle. I feel.
Yeah.
Because like
also,
I mean, I always joke about this. I don't know if you watch very many video game essayists. There's like 3 games that every video game essayist does. It's Dead Space, Metroid Prime, and Mario 64.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Those are like the 3 games.
Man, I did not know that. I guess the only one I watched was like, the one where Isaac Clarke in Dead Space 2 is the bad guy, lit all in its head. I watched that and I was like, holy shit, that actually makes so much fucking sense.
I mean, there's
that
like Avalanche Reviews did like I think it's like a 7-hour video on the whole Dead Space series.
Dude, yeah.
There's even like Noah Caldwell did like a 5-hour one on the whole Dead Space series. There's Boulder Punch did one on every single game. It's like an hour a piece.
Yeah.
Like it's a very talked about game. And like it's generally like I know like most people know of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I would consider it a cult classic necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that like I guess it wouldn't be a cult classic. It'd be like it's kind of pop, like it's kind of part of like pop culture now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you always see those like collaboration posts of like a bunch of characters. Like I love how Isaac Clarke, like in like the whole like art scene is like, oh yeah, he's just the one friend who's in every fucking friend group for some reason. Like he's in the like where's my wife crowd, the like we're fighting undead horrors crowd, like with Master Chief, Samus Aran, Doom Guy, and he's like part of the like PlayStation All Stars cast. So
yeah. Back to Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
We're talking about Dead Space for like an hour, by the way.
For an hour? Dude, holy, that sounded like 2 minutes.
But
I
yeah,
can't wait to see the chapter on that video. Holy
I mean, the state of the game overall, though, I think behavior is definitely moving it into a good place. And I've talked about this a couple months ago, where it's like, if the biggest thing we're complaining about balance wise is Franklin's weave, like that's the thing everyone's complaining about. The complaints have actually kind of slowed down for some reason. But
just kind of a slow news day, right?
yeah, but if that's like the only thing we're complaining about, I think this game is in a better place than we even realize.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's never going to be.
Yeah, unless you know, I was gonna say an Adir's plague joke, but like I feel like that's kind of worn its course. I'd be like, yeah.
But moving on to talking a little bit about plague, though, her power level. So this is, plague is in a weird place with power level discussions, because I feel like she's like usually higher up, but like kind of in the middle. But like, where would you put her if you had to?
Okay, so the category everyone puts like Freddy and Myers and stuff like that. I'd put the rest of the cast there and put Plague and S tier.
Are you really think she's S tier?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, he's trolling.
Okay.
I think she's mid A when she works, but like bottom, like top of B when like she's in the state like she's been in the past few months.
Okay.
Like, here's the thing: there's a lot of different things good survivors can do against plague, and like, don't get me wrong, that's good. That's good. Thumbs up. We like that. I like that. I like having a killer that like you can do so much stuff against, and you can do so much stuff with. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But like suddenly one side gets that balance skewed, and then suddenly she's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
But like as a whole, like even though like the things you can do in chase are now heavily skewed towards the survivor, she's still really strong. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Freddy suddenly like you didn't get slowed down via like blood pools anymore. It's like, it's just very minor things that reduce her skill ceiling. It's annoying.
Right, but I mean, take getting rid of the skill ceiling, though. I mean, is she's still strong?
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. I always put Plague in like middle bottom A tier, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah,
and mostly because when she works, and the time she doesn't work, I personally think is very seldom.
Yeah, like she's when she works beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
But the odd time she is broken, she feels horrendous.
Well, no, I don't even mean like from a coding or like a bug perspective. I just mean like when everything comes together in her kit. Like when everything's firing on all cylinders, like I feel like she is up there as far as strength goes. Not S tier.
Oh yeah, no,
not S tier,
absolutely.
Means, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like a locked in 120% plague, like focus plague, like you're gonna do work, right? Like straight up against unprepared teams, or like say one survivor's listening to Blackpink, like that's gonna be a trouble. But they'd win. But it's not like they're playing against like a fully locked in nurse, right? Where you literally can't do anything.
Yeah.
Or like a fully locked in blight. It's like a fully locked in plague. There's still things you can do.
Yeah, and
so
I think she's in the position a lot of killers need to be as far as strength level goes.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I feel like it's okay for some killers to be bad, if that makes any sense.
Uh-huh.
Like, I feel like if you try and buff Freddy the way he is, like he's overdue for a rework, we all know this, but if you try and buff him into like being Blight, suddenly he's obnoxiously unhealthy for the game.
Well,
and yeah, I don't like. Here's the thing, right? Like the amount of stuff Blight can get away with, right, is nowhere near comparable to Freddy. Like it's a hypothetical where, you know, Blight somehow, like, he falls down the stairs or something, hits his head, he's disabled, and then like Forever Freddy comes back or something. I don't know.
I mean, like I wouldn't want him brought up to like Blight level. I think Blight and Nurse and the top tiers probably need to be brought down a little bit. I would rather have everyone in that that A range, that B range.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying like I think like apart from like Demogorgon, I think Plague is like in that zone.
Yeah, I feel like Plague, not necessarily Demo. I don't think. The Demo's portals are just mid.
I would put Demo like right in the middle of the tier list.
Oh no, I thought you were talking like balance wise. I was like, oh yeah, balance wise, like those two, I would say are
yeah.
pretty close to being perfectly balanced.
Yeah. Because I mean,
then again, I'm a little bit biased. A little bit biased.
Oh, of course. I mean, everyone is. Yeah. But I guess that leads us a little bit into and you've alluded to some of these a little bit, but tips for new plagues.
Okay, tips for new plagues. I would say, and this is gonna sound like you're gonna call me a cornball. You're like gonna block me on Twitter, post my address in the comment section. It's all about attitude. Like, especially, I think later on the background footage you're gonna see here is if you're tilted, you're gonna make easy like really easily avoidable mistakes, but you're also learning. You're gonna make mistakes. Even like elite level gamers with like 3,000 hours on the character are still learning new things, right? We are still developing. Don't like practice makes permanent. So don't go into practice molding your fucking head off, right? Because you're gonna make mistakes. And like, I totally get it. That like it can be frustrating as hell. Like I get it. I've been there. Like you get Forgotten Ruins, GG's buddy, but like it's all about your enjoyment. And if you really, really, really want to learn Plague, or like any killer for that matter, it's all about the attitude. And if you're going in having fun and you just generally enjoy the power, you're gonna pick up and do so much better than if you're like annoyed. Like, I remember I tried making a Pinhead video a while back, and I'm not too experienced with Pinhead, and I went in kind of annoyed. And would you believe that if you're kind of annoyed about everything that's going on, suddenly you're making a whole lot of easily avoidable mistakes. And Plague is a character where mistakes will lose you around. You know what I mean? But like that's not to sound like the stereotypical like Reddit killer main where it's like, yeah, I gotta play perfectly. It's like both sides are like that. Like a Plague's whole thing is like if they make one mistakes, like you see food, you kill it as Plague. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't punish yourself so severely. Just recognize that you have made a mistake, and then, you know, for future, you won't make that mistake. You know, I would recommend, if you're able to, record any games if you're wanting to learn how the power works or how Plague works in general. Recording games, especially if you win or lose. Look at what works for sure. That is really important. But also look at what doesn't. I know that's a tip for Overwatch as well, especially with the replay viewer. It's like, okay, how did I die here? Like, it's the same thing for Plague. Like, how'd I get stunned here? You know, like someone was hiding behind a pallet and then like teleported in. It's like, okay, I know for future to be a little bit more hesitant. Oh, I ran out of corrupt at this loop when I really shouldn't have. What happened? Well, I was respecting pallets for like 20 minutes. You know, it's all about attitude and recording. And I think as well, Plague is really, really hard to learn. And so I would not fall into the trap of running Thana or trying to fully infect everyone. I have said that before, but trying to fully infect everyone is ridiculously hard. It is ridiculously hard, and while entertaining as fuck for every single Plague player, it is difficult. So, you know,
So you did send me an infection tracking video.
Ooh, yes, yes. Okay.
Dude, honestly,
I don't know if you wanted to go over this or not.
Yes, yes. So basically, in this clip, I not only track Michaela, but I also track Jeff and Zarina through 3 different states of the video. If would you mind screen sharing on Discord?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a bit of stream delay. So
You're just hoping my computer doesn't crash from this. Can you see?
You can see, like, right as I infect that generator, right? Yeah, I can see it. So we load in, right? And I go in. I see that there's like a survivor over there. I try and connect the contamination, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see Jeff. I start chasing Jeff, you know? And that contamination is currently working in the background. So I'm really focused on getting Jeff fully infected, right? Because I'm chasing him. I infected Alan earlier, but, you know, like, I saw Jeff. Jeff was an easier target, and plus I wanted the generator infected. I'm looking at the palette here. It's whatever. And I see, if you pause really quickly, you can see Michaela got infected. And I immediately recognize that. And so, since I've only contaminated one thing, I know she's over there specifically. Mm-hmm. So I show up again, and yeah, I do a little bit of funky work here. So I want you guys as well to look at the HUD real quick. Pause if you can. You can see that Alan is fully infected here. Now, that took about 40 seconds, 40 to 50 seconds. So basically, he is doing whatever, right? But because he's fully infected, he is spreading contamination. So that's important. We can continue playing. So I continue chasing Michaela, and, you know, Jeff cleanses, and then Jeff immediately gets reinfected. So if we pause real quick, what does that tell me as the aspiring plague player? Well, that tells me that Jeff and Alan are working together. Or Jeff is behind me, but more likely than not, since we saw Jeff run this way, that they are working together. And since we know he is cleansed right there, he's obviously there as well. I keep forgetting about that. So it's like a mini discordance proc. I know you're there, so I grab Corrupt. I see the 2 screams, and then we start milli rocking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We start hitting the gritty on them, and yeah, there's one, and then there's 2. Oh, that's a second hit. I keep struggling sometimes. Oh, if we pause there real quick, there is 3 seconds of immunity after getting hit by Corrupt. You have 3 full seconds of further immunity from further Corrupt Purge attacks. Now, that also applies to being hit on hook. Even though it doesn't put them into deep wounds, they still have the 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. So that's how he survives. So, you know, I'm still doing my business. Now, I know you can't see because of the creature, but pay attention to Zarina here. Creature goes away. And then, boom! What does that tell me? Well, Zarina can either be on the generator, right? The other generator's worn off. We don't have contamination add-on, so she's either on that, or she's on the survivor that's infected and down on the ground. Now, this is the priority, right? If the gen was closer to being 99'd, or close to ending the game, I would go check the generator. But because it isn't, I can tell that she's trying to pick up Alan Wake, and yeah, that is infection tracking. That is why you want Vile Purge. You just know. Yeah, that's what I love. I love infection tracking. I love infection tracking. It's so cool. It's so fucking cool. It's like, so fucking cool.
It's like makeshift Singularity before Singularity was a thing.
Yeah, she's so cool.
You have the
I actually wanted him.
You have the other clip you sent me, the trees one. I don't know if you wanted me to show that one or not.
Okay, so that was something interesting about hitboxes that I didn't tell you before. Yeah, if you want to play that one, with audio, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Show him. Ooh. Trees! No! No, there are no trees! No!
So a lot of trees now suddenly have
we are
hitboxes.
chilling.
Now the difference is that on Garden of Joy
Trees,
especially,
no!
some trees don't have collision. Those are the base trees, but the birch trees specifically do have collision. So, and they're really bad collision. So, you know, you literally cannot get max range shots if you're trying to like go for shots on the trees. So it's
That sounds like something behavior would do.
yeah, it is very much something. It's right up their alley. Oh my god.
But the infection tracking thing I think is huge. I think it's something I do a lot of the time subconsciously, but
yeah, it's very much a subconscious thing. I will say that a main bit of advice with infection tracking is never go into something assuming that it's that. Let it play out so you can mentally retroactively build up a timeline. Because if you jump to something, you're giving yourself an unironic red herring, and you never want to let Zarina Kassir know that you've given yourself a red herring. Okay, she thrives off that. So
she's
yeah.
a reporter.
Yeah.
But this segues into the other thing though. Tips for playing against Plague.
Ooh, tips for playing against Plague. I did say earlier that you should hug things all like really tightly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things people don't realize, and also get up in her face because it's really hard to track you. But a lot of things as well is obviously don't group up, but also like if you can tell you're about to reach max infection, and you have like good plagues will realize it's like trying to realize the strength of your opponent. You know what I mean? Like realizing how advanced a plague is means you're playing at an entirely different game, right? Like if a plague is really new, they'll like go for more spraying shots. They might not even do that. They might throw in M1s. They probably won't even try and full infect down combo you, which is crazy to me, but you know, that is a thing. So you got to try and really, the more confident they are trying to use their power, it is really indicative of how comfortable they are with Plague. A lot of things as well is curves is something I've shown on my YouTube channel a lot, which is really flashy. This is probably something that goes into Plague tips, but her projectiles are entirely heavily influenced by her own momentum. So I mentioned Speed Plague like 4 hours ago or something. Basically, Speed Plague, if you're moving faster, you actually increase the range. You actually increase the velocity of your purges by a little bit. And so, if you're fully stacked with, like, let's say, play with your food, your purges actually have a little bit extra max range and they travel a little bit faster. So, when you curve, it is all about moving your camera and your movement precisely enough so that you slow down a lot, so your purges fall way tighter than they should. It's really tricky to explain because it's very technical and like I'm still getting up there, but yeah, it's basically all about manipulating that. So if you see an advanced level plague like trying going for stuff like that, what you can do is unironically run into them because they aren't looking at you. They're looking at where you're going to be, right? Mm-hmm. So they're looking up and they're like curving slightly to the left. So they're paying attention to where you're going to be. They're trying to figure out the angle. So if you fucking run into them, they're not going to be able to tell unless they've got Dobia Tomos on, right? And then I can't tell you, it's happened to me once where someone's recognized that what I'm doing, I can't see them, and they've ran up to the pallet, stunned me with it, and I DC'd at that, by the way. And I just had to, out of respect. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. But yeah, flat out, it's always about unpredictability, and a lot of Plague's purges is entirely based on prediction, right? So say you're going to a window, right? I wouldn't run immediately to the window unless you know you've got distance and you have enough distance to immediately take cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say play palettes. Like, unironically, it sounds so fucking funny with Corrupt. It's like, oh yeah, you should hold W. No, play palettes. If you're at Shack, play Shack and like actually try and get in their head, because the best survivors, the best plagues and the best survivors, it's like a battle of like the minds. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like who is trying to outthink the other. You know what I mean? So if you pull some absolutely fucking ridiculous shit, you're gonna confuse your opponent. It's like showing up to a grandmaster chess competition, and then instead of like doing like the queen's gambit or whatever, you just start eating the pieces. It's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do against that? You just don't know. So it's like it's stuff like that.
Any tips for when you should cleanse?
Ooh, when you should cleanse. Basically, here's the thing. Plague has multiple times where, like, multiple different scenarios where she can force a cleanse. So if it's preferable, it's more of a trade, if you know what I mean. It's like, what am I doing with this cleanse to warrant Plague to either stop what she's doing or to hinder what she's doing?
Mhm.
So the obvious one is Plague proxy camping with Vile Purge, right? You cleanse far, like relatively far away, so you lure her away with Corrupt, so you can rescue while healthy, right? And it's much easier to do that while healthy because she can't exactly chew through health states, especially with like even when she purges, right? Like she can't chew through health states that quickly with Vile. But yeah, like it's all about what you can give, right? And I think the two major examples is I wouldn't cleanse if you're going into endgame unless you are absolutely fucking sure they have the the black incense. I swear to God, the amount of the amount of control Plague has in the endgame is frightening. In the 1v1 scenario, in endgame, you know, like endgame collapses on, both gates are like fully unlocked. If she contaminates both gates and hatch, you're not getting out, buddy.
No.
Flat out. So it's better to be infected in that situation. And for newer plagues, I wouldn't grab Corrupt in that situation. I know it seems tempting, but I genuinely wouldn't, because Vile is way better at getting information than Corrupt ever is.
Mhm.
Especially as well, like there's other situations, like if you're on Death Hook and Plague is seriously gunning for you, you can cleanse in a really bad area and then just fucking hide. Because Plague, like, if you aren't, you know, like, I think I say this for everyone who gets, like kind of heated about contaminations for some reason. It's like, you control the buttons you press. So you can control the amount of, like, that's why, like, infection tracking is so hard. Like, it goes so hard because it's all about the information you feed Plague. Like, a contamination is DBD's most obvious trap. It's not like, oh, it will kill you. It's like a burglar alarm. You know what I mean? It's like it just tells you that, like, hey, the big boss is coming. You might wanna go. You know what I mean? You might wanna go. The boss is here. But like,
I mean, I think it's a very nuanced question and answer, because it's like, it depends, like, on a lot of factors.
yeah, absolutely.
I think the big thing is just don't cleanse all the time and don't never cleanse. So those are the two big takeaways I would give most people.
Like if your team is always cleansing, cleanse too. Like, you know how fucking stressful it is as a Plague to juggle fountains? Like, the amount of games I've had where, like, the entire team is just fully cleansing is, like, I've had, like, games where I've spent 40 seconds just grabbing Corrupt so I don't hyper cleanse. Like, it is crazy how quickly, like, you can put pressure on someone for doing that. Like, if you, like, even as all solos, if you guys are just shit posting, like, all grabbing Corrupt, like, you realize how much, like of a mental game that is? Like seriously, you can get in someone's head really easy by cleansing. But yeah, like seriously, do what your team is doing. Don't be the stick in the mud. Like, you guys are in it to win it. You know what I mean? Like don't. I know what like Survivor main YouTube tells you, and I know I laugh at people cleansing all the time, but like, That's because I'm a plague man. I love corrupt. I'm happy. I'm a happy boy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I guess the like you want to make plague happy, right? Like you don't want to get her pissed off, so she like. I guess it sounds like camping, but that's like with every killer. You know what I mean? It's like the happier they are, the better you're gonna do as survivor, right? Like as an individual survivor, the less likely you're gonna get like Bubba Sawyer like fan 2015 from like hardcore tunneling you for like no fucking reason. By the way, he's playing Freddy for some reason. But yeah, honestly, like go in, like I don't know. Just don't be a stick in the mud is all I'm trying to say. If your team is doing something as stupid as it is, it might probably work out. Like if everyone is committing to the bit is automatically better. You know what I mean?
I mean, what's the thing? It's one dumb person doing something is stupid. 2 people doing it's a plan. 3 people doing it's a strategy.
4 people doing it, and it's the average fucking NA West game with Plague. NA West game with Magi N7. There we go.
I mean,
I love Parag.
I would mostly say a lot of that is extremely applicable. Once again, with the whole cleansing thing, like I said, I think it's a nuanced answer. It just depends, like honestly. And it the only real way anyone's ever gonna know, you just got to play against it. That's all you can do, and just try to figure it out from there, or play as Plague. And figure out when you don't like it when they do it.
Yeah. Also, play Plague with me. I will give you Fountain. I will follow you around with the scene partner. I will scream at you as like the silly little French woman. It's fine.
Are you a big lore head?
I do like Plague lore. I do like Plague lore. I've got a big compendium of Plague lore.
So I mean that pretty much answers the question. You enjoy her lore?
Yes.
You don't think she's a bit too sympathetic for a killer?
No.
Really?
No.
I don't know. Part of me is like because she's not technically doing anything wrong.
Yeah, that's why we love her for it. It's morally gray. It's morally gray, and we fucking love morally gray. It's like Plague as a character is like the only one that you can like genuinely make an argument for that she's like morally good. Like especially like twins and like Spirit. It's like, oh yeah, they got murdered and they're persecuted. But it's like Plague is genuinely trying to do a good thing. You know what I mean? Like she's trying to protect her people.
She thinks she's doing a good thing.
Yes.
Big asterisk there.
I know she's doing the right thing, okay? I know. Me personally, I know. Thanos. Jake Park probably fucking deserved that, I'm not gonna lie. Thanos probably deserved a face full of vomit, it's fine.
Thanos was right. Alright. And you know, I've talked about this many times with her cosmetics. The devs have said multiple times, the reason why Plague doesn't get that many skins is because she's so unique that they can't really design anything for her that doesn't completely clash with her character. That's why she doesn't get that many skins. However, for the skins she does get, I actually think they've been almost always on point.
Except the cat skin. I really thought they were going to go for the cat girl Plague. I was very excited for that.
The cat skin was a cool idea, though, I will admit. It was an interesting take on that.
I do like how she canonically has a dingus. I think that's very funny. But other than that, I kind of regret spending money on it, but I had to because, you know, give me more skins. Anyway, I had a thought for... It's a really stupid idea, but like I thought an idea for... You know how like Vittorio has like a bunch of cosmetics, even though he's like from like medieval Europe. He's got like a bunch of modern day fits.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be really funny if you give like Plague like a cyberpunk fit, like give her like some aviator sunglasses. But like here's the thing, like you have the hair parted like over where her face would usually like her ear is missing in the current skin. But then when you like you put the aviators on the other skins, you realize she's got a bit of tape where the ear should be.
I've said for a while, it's funny to me. We don't have any like sci-fi skins.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but I could see Plague like getting like a robot skin.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I feel like I don't know. I was thinking about the Cyberpunk skin because I was playing Cyberpunk at the time. I mean, obviously, but like having like the arm, like you know how like she's got the sensor wrapped around her arm, but I thought like having like you know how the mantis blades in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I thought about having like that, but like the sensor came out of it would be kind of like cool looking.
I mean, hear me out. A rogue like cleaning bot, but it's Plague.
Ooh.
So like
that might go hard.
Instead of like vomit, it's like bleach she shoots out.
Just fucking just like the survivor comes out with like a pristine like you know you got like the comp ace.
It doesn't make them dirty. It makes them shinier.
Yeah. Well, first pay to win cosmetic. You know she's got a pay to lose cosmetic. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Yeah, if you're running Mermaid Plague, the headdress she has on that makes her so easy to spot. Like you get her on Azerov's, which is probably her best map.
Mm-hmm.
You can see her over like almost every single structure if you're like angling your camera correctly.
I mean that's the reason she's so tall. By the way, it's a balancing thing. By the way.
Oh yeah,
it's a balancing thing in two ways. One, it makes it so she can shoot over higher loops, and two, it makes it so survivors can almost always see her.
Yeah.
But like of her current skins though, do you have a favorite?
I like the red dress with the moth headpiece. I think it looks like a lot like battle armor. I know that's a very popular fit.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I really like is the mermaid plague like body. The only problem with it is they didn't model it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Like she blinks with her skull. I don't know how to describe it.
She blinks with her skull?
Yes, like her eye socket.
Uh-huh. I would have to see it. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay.
Oh, whoa. You're saying the skull without any eyelids blinks.
Yeah, the eyes are like the same,
mm-hmm.
but like the eye where she lost it on most skins. Well, no, she still has it. If you look in the models, she actually has like bones, like modeling bones to actually open up the eyelid. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you look yeah, she blinks with like the entire. Yeah, she doesn't blink properly. It always takes me out. Mm. But I like that, and you put on like the green little gold one. Oh, it looks pretty. Looks pretty. Very pretty.
And I know you're a fan of the gumball machine.
I love the gumball. I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny that like Plague wanted a gumball, couldn't figure out how it worked, and then just starts smacking Dwight with it to get one out. I think it's so funny.
I will say it's on screen now, but I will never get over the fact that it's just a 2D,
it's just PNGs.
It's just a PNG.
Yeah.
Like I think I said this in your stream once. It's like it looks so bad, but it looks bad on purpose.
Yeah, it looks like a shitpost. That's why I love it. It looks like something I would make for one of my videos. like it looks like something you would make intentionally as a bit. That's why I love it.
Behavior, if you're listening, we're not shitting on you. Like, it's fine. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
Do you have a skin you actually hate on her though?
Ooh, probably the cat one.
That's the only one you would like genuinely just don't like.
Yeah, it's the one I think. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Blighted Plague is kind of. I have a soft spot for that because the way the blight comes out, like the blighted juice, it makes it look like she's crying, and I think it's all fucking dramatic and shit. I'm a sucker for that. But
I'm not
yeah, like
I forgot Blighted Plague existed. I never see it.
Yeah, because like she's just got better fits. It's like a D tier fit, but you know.
All right, last thing with the skins though, you kind of answered this already, but if there was one skin idea you had for Plague that you would want in the game 100%, what would it be?
Ooh, I would like skin for Plague 100%. I would love, like, you know how I mentioned the cyberpunk skin. I like, you know how they do like the funky little effects on their skins now.
Mm-hmm.
I would love an effect where it would change color based on, you know, their emergency called. Like if she has corrupt or something, like it's like got green lights when she's normal, and then red when she's not, and she's got like a little entity on the back. Oh man, that would go hard.
No, the cleaning bot. Just change the eye color.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see something like that. Plague, like I said, like she surprisingly gets a lot of skins that are good, just not that many. I feel.
Yeah, you know what's another skin I would like? You know, like Ebenezer Scrooge's like bedtime fit. I would love one of that where she gets like a candle. She got like the little hat and like the little gown. I think that would be fucking hilarious. Like, you just woke her up. She's like, I want to.
We need more funny skins in this game. I swear, we don't get enough. Moving on from the skin talk though a little bit. Would you say Plague is map dependent?
I mean, you're watching me right now on Forgotten Ruins.
With the exception of the one map every killer sucks on.
Okay. You also get Leary's Memorial Institute, and you're like suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much any indoor map, she really does suffer, and especially maps with really tight corners. Mm-hmm. Like she suffers with. Maps that are generally large as well usually have really bad fountain spawns. Like, I think I posted something with Garden of Joy a little while ago of like all the fountain spawns, and like there's like a portion of the map where only one of them spawns. Like the top right where the exit gate spawns, like yeah, only one spawns up there, which is
Would you, if you had to pick one map, what's your most hated?
Ignoring the one that like everyone hates, Leary's.
I fucking despise Leary's too, if it makes you feel any better.
God.
Surprisingly, I barely talked about Chucky this podcast. It usually doesn't happen. That map for Chucky is so fucking bad. I hate it.
Oh man, I finally, peace has been brokered between the Plague mains and the Chucky mains. Holy, I hate that map too. Oh my god, you actually cannot use your fucking power. It is.
Do you know two things that mess with Chucky more than anything?
Besides tight corners?
90-degree angles, so tight corners,
okay.
And windows. Do you know what Larry is 90% of?
Fucking windows and tight corners.
Everyone's like, oh no! Everyone's always like, oh no! Chucky's a stealth killer. He does just fine on that map. Yeah, but I can't use my power on half of the map.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
God, delete Larry's. Like I think it's the one map where I'm like, I understand the hate. Like
the game would be so much more comfy and more enjoyable, and I won't cry every single time. And I won't like Plague Adirus Plague would like go to bed crying every single time.
Does any killer other than like Ghostface like Larry's?
Besides Myers.
Okay, Myers and Ghostface. Okay, so those two.
And Pig to some extent.
Yeah, maybe, but even then, like the boxes spawn like relatively close because it's not that big of a map either.
It feels massive.
It does. It's also, I swear, it's like the most RNG dependent map in the game. Because depending on how the doors spawn, not the exit gates, like the normal doors that like connect the rooms.
Good to do.
I was gonna say, depending on how they spawn, it completely changes how certain loops behave. Some loops become god loops.
Dude, have you had the fucking legendary double window spawn.
Which
Dude,
one?
I had this poor ghost face. Oh my god, bro! I was playing Gabriel. I had like MFT up because like I got tunneled off hook and I just kept leading him there. It was so I was being a right little shit that ran. Oh man. But yeah, there's like 2 windows and there's like a pallet in the middle, and it's like unironical. It's like shack window if it like looped into another shack. You know, like that spawn on like Father Campbell's where it's like 2 like really strong windows back to back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but yeah.
Like yeah, Lair's is terrible. Is there a map you would say is your favorite to play on as Plague?
Bird City. Yeah, it's her own map, Temple of Purgation.
Really?
And I know how that sounds. But genuinely, the loops on that map, the amount of separate angles, especially on the shack. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good.
Even after the rework?
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I think the only thing as well is like trees, but the trees on that specific map, like that realm, are just good. Like they're good trees.
I think I feel like it was a situation of they built the map for the killer, similar to Dead Dog for Deathslinger.
Yeah. Unlike Carmina Mora, fucking Adiris and Ana actually pay their landscapers. So
I don't mind Temple. I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of it. I actually really don't mind it that much.
I think unironically it feels like it's missing a jungle gym, but besides that, I think it's like it is up there with one of the most fair maps in the game. You know how like everyone like all the little gamers send you to Macmillan? It's like why aren't you sending me to like Red Forest, bro? Come on.
Try hard bone.
Yeah. Come to my forest.
I think the this next one, you seem like someone who'd be in tune with it. Do you have any stats on Plague? I don't know what's tracked on Plague.
Sickness downs is what's tracked on Plague.
Really?
Yeah. I wish it was something more fancy, but yeah, it's sickness downs.
That is kind of annoying. I wish it was something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's whatever. Ideally, the day where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give her a new achievement where it's like, yeah, the amount of survivors you've hit with Corrupt Purge. Oh man, I'm gonna be eating good that day. I'm gonna be eating good.
Are you on the leaderboard at all?
I am. I'm 9th. I used to be like, yeah, 9th. I used to be 6th. But I like there's a period of time I was just kind of focusing on content, and I fell off.
Is there and I mean no offense when I say this, is there any like other big creators who name Plague that I'm not aware of?
There's have you heard of Negoose?
I have heard of Negoose, yes.
Yeah, Negoose plays Plague and Hag.
And everyone wanted me to bring Otts on here for this.
I mean, does he play Plague that often? I don't see him when he streams.
He's technically a Plague main. It's his main killer.
Okay, well, I'm
just curiosity is all.
Yeah, no, it's no worries. Like, I understand that. Like, actually, do I? I need another soda soon. I know I said I was gonna keep track, but I actually worked through 4 hours. Like, I think I need to talk to you more often. Like, holy, I just love yapping. But no, like, I think Otts, I think me and Otts have a bit of disagreements. I know this isn't usually what we do, but like, I feel like Otts is way more experienced in the game as a whole, but I feel like I'm more experienced with one specific aspect of the game being Plague. I mean, you know?
That happens. I mean, like, when he did the tier list thing for the add-ons a few weeks back, I know a lot of mains of each of those characters who disagreed a lot with everything he was saying in that video.
Okay, so I know. There's one add-on. There's one add-on that he keeps saying. Oh, there's a couple add-ons. I'm so sorry. There's a couple of add-ons. I pretty much disagree with the entire bottom half of that list. I'm not gonna lie.
I disagree with almost everything you said about Chucky's add-ons. If it makes you feel any better.
Okay, that's the worries then. Yeah. But like Otz is a good guy. From what I can tell, I don't know him personally. Actually, I do know him personally. I meet up with him to go to the pub every day. We talk about Plague DVD. It's a little club. But no, like it's I feel like if you main a character, like especially in my, I don't really have a close circle of streamer friends. I would say I've got people I'm buddy with, but like in all the street like the plague mains, I guess you would say, like they do have like instant message to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like we do have disagreements. I know Forsaken is. Oh man, he was the GOAT. He still is the GOAT, by the way. He still is the GOAT. He just doesn't have time to play that often, I don't think. I love him to bits if he's watching. Shout outs to you, my best friend. Yeah, like his main thing is Vile Emetic. Like he absolutely adores that, right? And Vile Emetic, I disagree with him for this because Vile Emetic actually straightens out your trajectory arc. Like the faster your purges go, the much wider your angle is. Mm-hmm. So you can go for like a lot more up angles, but you can't go for certain shots Stock can, and Stock can't go for certain angles that Vile can. It's a very interesting dichotomy, I do think. Yes, let me open up my thesaurus real quick. Oh my god, I'm talking about play gameplay and I'm like getting an ego. Holy. But sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But I will say, yeah, there's just a lot of things I look at, like the Olabanum, which is the brown, seriously insane add-on. Like everyone's like, oh, dude, it Magi. It shows you where someone's cleansed. That's not what it does at all. It tells you where someone's going, which, you know, tie that to a corrupt fountain, you know, put 2 and 2 together, and you got like, you got someone dying, you know, yeah. Unless they got distortion.
But yeah, you know, it's one of those things though. Me and the Mr. Headache have talked about this before. I think it's the difference of like you kind of alluded to a little bit. The difference is like whenever I see like people talking about Chucky or whatever, it's like I have different opinions on him because I play him nonstop for hours. I probably played over 2,000 games on him, right? So it's like my opinions are different. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs. I know how all the add-ons work in every situation.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, someone like Otz, and this is nothing against Otz, he's very, very knowledgeable. I'm not saying he's not. It's just like because he needs to be knowledgeable on every killer like he is, he can't be pinpoint accurate all the time.
Yeah.
Which is where like some of the cognitive dissonance comes from with that. Which I think is fine. I think he's upfront with it, and he's fine with being wrong. He's been very open about being wrong about some of those add-ons in that tier list. But go on.
Oh no, continue.
I was gonna say, like, I honestly think like that's an admirable trait that more people need. Like when I see people saying wrong things about Chucky all the time, and it's like I try to correct them, and then they're like, no, I'm right. It's like I have how much time on this killer? I've done so much research, and I know you're wrong. Like it's infuriating sometimes.
Yeah, man, getting fucking gamer-splained is the fucking worst.
It's like gamer-splained. It's like, I don't know. It's and you know, some things are opinions. Don't get me wrong. Like opinions are totally different.
Yeah.
But like when someone says something like a statement of fact, and I know it's wrong, but they refuse to take anything I'm saying as like, and I'm not even saying I'm right all the time, but like when I am, it's like there's a running joke in Brand's chat for Xenomorph. There was someone who claims to this day Xenomorph's tail is 10 meters.
That's like, what?
Yes.
What? What?
Yeah. It's 4, by the way.
But
it didn't.
It's hot.
It didn't matter.
Okay.
It didn't matter. They, like Brand went into a custom and like measured it out and like went to the wiki and like showed all the research he's done on like the distance. It didn't matter. The guy was still adamant. It is 10 meters.
I mean, you can't cure stupid. You know what I mean?
But but I feel like I have conversations with people like that all the time with certain killers.
Yeah, I feel like, especially, I feel like Plague really doesn't have. I guess she does kind of have that problem because, you know, like I said earlier, there has been like way earlier, like 4 hours ago, like there has been legitimate poor like bits of bad advice that I have seen, and I've been working to dismantle that bit of bad advice. And it's like being able to infect people in lockers, I've heard. And the amount of times I've had to disprove that's not the case. If you infect a locker, you won't infect the person inside of it until they crawl out of it.
Right, because they actually have to touch it.
Yeah, basically the general rule is if their hands touch something, it will infect them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they deception a locker, like they appraisal a chest, they will get infected. Funny thing about that, though, behavior is actually hell-bent on making Elodie Rakoto actually terrorize Plague, because, oh my god, I was writing a Vile Purge guide to infection tracking, because you would be shocked at how much stuff, like, survivors can touch, and you need to cover that. And oh my god, like midway through, like I realized they made that one perk where you get like brand new parts for searching chests. So I was like I had to like rework an entire portion of the script to make an Elodie Rakoto joke. It was god.
I think moving on from there though, I think we'll get into the viewer submitted questions. For those listening on the YouTubes, or on Twitch, if you want to submit questions for the interviews, join the Discord, and there's a section for that. I usually add everybody like a couple hours before. For those in the chat, if anyone's still here, you can also ask questions now, and we'll read them as when we get a second. The first question that was submitted is one that you've kind of already answered, and I assume I already know your answer to this, but how do you feel about the current bugs with her?
I hope that picked up.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
Okay.
You can go more in depth if you want, but
no, I think that covered it. That was my genuine reaction.
All right, question 2. Go on if you got something to say.
No, it's very disheartening, especially when you learn something. I think my main problem with it's a live service game. It's Dead by Daylight. Things are gonna get bugged. My main problem with it was especially the stun bug. They came out and said that it was actually an intentional mechanic, despite it not working that way for her entire lifespan. And then they came out and it was like, yeah, this is a bug. And then I was the first one to cover. I think I was the first one to break the news, if that makes any sense. That like, hey, look, this is the thing. I didn't go to the devs for some stupid fucking reason. I kicked myself over that. I just made a YouTube video because I didn't know how to submit a report, and I was too fucking lazy. But it is really disheartening to essentially be gaslit over something you love and you know is different,
mm-hmm.
and then be told that you're correct and it's still not fix it fully. But then again, bugs still happen, so it's whatever.
A live service game, it's gonna happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Behavior spaghetti code aside. Next question is about the prayer tablet. Do you think more killers should have add-ons like the brown I can talk. Do you think more killers should have add-ons like the brown prayer tablet fragment, where it changes the killer's power in an extreme way?
I think Plague is in a unique position nowadays where she has essentially two sub killers tied into her. She has like Speed Plague, which is I have a video coming out about that soon. Hopefully I get it out before holidays. But you also have like Contamination Plague, which relies on Prayer Tablet, where you rely on contaminations to fully track where people are, and you're tracking with it. I think it's a great thing. It's unfortunate that not a lot of killers do actually have that like complex of a power. I think like Artist could probably get one. I'm not too sure about that. I honestly, I think a lot of killers would benefit a lot from it, but I just don't know how you would implement it on a lot of killers. You know what I mean?
I don't, like I've said, like BFFs. You know, the add-on for Legion.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've always said I think we need more of those.
True.
Like,
True. I would love one for Plague. I would love one.
It was such a unique add-on that has never been done again. It's the only one of its kind. It's the only token-based add-on in the game.
Yeah, no, like flat out, I think there should be more like that. Like stuff that encourages like I've just realized we were like 3 hours and 30 minutes into this, and we haven't even talked about Plague's blood points. But like this kind of ties into this, but like stuff that promote cool plays, like I think should be rewarded. I know like Trickster's combo system is bugged, but I would love to see something like that for Plague. Like you don't get blood points for someone reaching max infection through a contamination. You just don't get it.
You don't get like an injure or anything?
I think you get sickness injure, but you don't get like the infection stuff. Or I don't even think you get that, no.
Huh.
No, you don't get initial infection, I should say. Oops. You don't get an initial infection blood point gain.
Well,
so I would
I was gonna say, I think similar to like how we were talking about like 3 hours ago about how Corrupt Purge, when it hits somebody, should do a sound effect. I think there should be a sound effect when you hit somebody with a vial as well.
Like, I mean,
on top of a blood point, just something to like just give you that little dopamine hit.
Yeah, you know what else I would love as well? Like I know I talk about Trickster's combo system, but something like that for Plague, where like you know how like Wraith has like a thing where he like uncloaks, and then if he hits someone, he gets like extra blood points. I think it should be like something like that, where like as Plague, if you down someone and then down someone and like shortly after with like Vial, you should get blood points for that, like extra.
I feel like there should be some kind of like a double kill kind of system where I think that should be on every killer.
Oh, like a Hotline Miami thing?
Yeah, like if you get like 2 hits within like a certain amount of time, you get extra blood points.
That'd be sick. That'd be so sick. Yeah.
But like I mean, I'm assuming was Plague. I don't know if you play or if you really paid attention to it. Was she very hard to adept because of that?
Yeah.
I would assume she was one of the more difficult ones to adept because of that. Because the way
so the strategy back in the day, flat out, it was not use Vial. Like flat out, you used Corrupt. Like you would bring Eerie Seal, Prayer Tablet, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, for those,
like flat out, that's how you did that.
For those who don't know, the way the adept system used to work was it was based off your emblems. You had to get 4 iridescent emblems, which is cool in theory until you realize some killers suck at getting some emblems.
Yeah,
Bubba. I was just gonna say any insta down killer basically just couldn't get it.
Yeah. So yeah, you were just heavily roll like you go from the Plague to the not so good feeling Maker woman, and it was a very bizarre situation when you realized the Plague was going for her adept.
Yeah.
So
I could imagine. I mean, it's ironic too because we talked about it earlier. Her teachables are not that bad on her. They're like really good on her too.
Yeah, I would say currently she's the easiest to go for the adept besides the fact that you're playing Plague. But I say that like it's an insult, but like Plague is pretty difficult for newer players.
Yeah. But yeah, I think unless you have anything else you want to talk about with Plague.
There wasn't any more questions?
No, it was just us two. Sorry.
Okay. Ooh. 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 So one thing's for sure. I mentioned before that I wanted to like the chain on the projectile purges, right?
Right.
Basically, I wanted to, in my whole idea for a rework to Plague, I would make it so the textures of the actual projectiles had a visible but different texture to the chain itself, alongside giving it more projectiles. So you actually know, like, oh fuck, I actually hit something here, or I didn't actually hit something. Because as you can imagine, like the chain sometimes breaks, right? If you played Plague for long enough, or you've seen any decent Plague gameplay, where like you like flick into a wall. Oh fuck, I just remembered something else. I want to talk about as well, like advice for better players against Plague.
Go for it.
I actually can't believe I forgot this, but anyway, so the chain, like, having visible projectiles will make it easier to realize, like, oh, I should have gotten a hit here. I got robbed. But, you know, like, it would make it so much easier to distinguish when something should have hit, or how to more predictively like shoot things. And as well, like I said, more projectiles earlier, but I think going for less might actually, like, making it do less, but making it more impactful, if that makes any sense, would probably be a better shout. Because like we're like, because like I remember someone on Twitter being like, oh, like how hard is it to use corrupt? And I'm like, as easy as you guys make it for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't respond to it because like I'm not gonna lie, I get very petty. I get very petty over something I'm very passionate about, but like it's one of those things where I forgot.
You forgot? Okay. All right.
What was the toy about?
Hitting the wall with the purge.
Okay, so yeah, you can hit a wall with a purge, right? And you can break the texture, which will send the projectiles flying exactly where they need to be, but the texture won't be there to connect them between the two streams. So you'll have an invisible projectile going anywhere. It's like that story about the solar flare influencing like a Nintendo 64 speedrun. It's like I remember one Quentin, bless his fucking heart. I broke a chain and I hit him. Like through I was like, I missed this. I was so mad at myself and I hit him and I was like, you know what, we take those. We fucking take those. But
it gives me
yeah, like I think textures should actually the projectiles should get a texture. Additionally as well, advice for survivors, if you can make a plague curve, do it. Because Plague's projectiles are based on momentum, if you get her to curve, the momentum skews very quickly, so she cannot accurately target where you're going in that window where she's actually turning. Right? Your projectiles will go flying into a wall. It is insane. It's one of the most difficult shots you can hit as Plague. Like Huntress, she just runs the corner, hits you. Trickster runs around the corner, hits you. Deathslinger runs around the corner. Like, as they're turning, they're hitting you. Plague has to wait. You know what I mean? So use it. Use it. Also, like, I don't know, play Plague. Like straight up, like the more you learn about Plague, the more like stuff you can do against her.
That whole wall thing did have me think. Could you imagine? How would you feel if Plague got like a trick blade add-on?
I've thought about it. I've thought about it, and I'm not too sure how I would feel about it.
That would be kind of badass. I'm not gonna lie.
It would, but I'm not too sure how balanced that would be. I'm not too sure. Let me put on my nerd glasses real quick. It would be cool, but I'm not too sure how like balanced it would be. And I don't know how much like people would like that, because like, especially if like you walk around a corner, right? Especially with this add-on, and you like miss, but like, you know, a pallet's right beside them, and so it like bounces off the pallet and hits them in the head. I feel like that would make it way too frustrating.
Yeah, I could make. I just don't think it would be cool. That's all. I had an idea years ago for Clown to have an add-on that lets his bottles bounce.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I see no reason for Clown not to get it.
Yeah, I always thought they should do it in base, like if you hold them long enough.
Yeah, I think they should just give Plague an add-on where she just has an RPG 7 for no reason. Honestly, I feel like they should make a tome story for Plague where like she gets a gun, like she's 1v1ing the Oni, right? And like everyone else is like there. And like she wins the 1v1 because she has like a Glock, and the rest of like the entire tome is trying to get the Glock away from her.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, in the nicest way possible. It's fucking hilarious.
Thanks.
Animators, get on it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also thought that an add-on where like Plague can crawl on the walls. Like I think I almost made a tier list on like how likely it was for each Plague skin to like crawl on walls. Did I tell you the Venom Plagues theory?
The what?
Did I tell you? Okay, so you know how like there's the two Plague skins where she's healthy?
Uh-huh.
So it's my theory that those aren't actually the Plague. That's a different woman. Like mainly just because of the facial differences. Like it like the facial differences, the earlobes, like everything. It is completely different from regular Plague.
I love how you openly admitted to staring at Plague's earlobes. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. Anyway, so basically, the theory is that like, have you ever played Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how in that game, like, major spoiler warnings for a game that came out like 8 years ago, by the way. In that game, you're playing as like everyone says you're Big Boss, but you're not. You're the body double of Big Boss. So Venom Plague, which is the healthy Plague, is actually the doppelganger employed by the real Plague to make sure while she's in the while she's rotting away trying to save the people of Babylon, that she keeps up the appearance of being healthy. Because as you can see in her tome archive, and also in the original Plague promotional material, is that Plague is fit, right? Like she's muscular, she's well built, like she looks like she can beat someone up, right? Like IRL, like but like here's the thing, right? Like the other Plague is just not built that way. You know what I mean? So it's my theory that like like this is probably the most fucking insane person you've had on this fucking podcast. Anyway, but yeah, like the other Plague, the healthy Plague is actually Venom Plague, where like it's not the same person, but like she believes she is the real person, and then the entity took her. And the next tome, they're gonna reveal that, and they're also gonna reveal that Plague's
the next tome, they're gonna reveal all this.
Yeah, the next tome's Plague, by the way. And they're also gonna reveal that her Bingus's name is like called Garingus, and yeah.
You wanna keep going with this?
Yeah, I don't even know where I could go with this. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, no, like the differences between the body of the healthy Plague and regular Plague is like essentially two different women.
I mean, as much as I want to do the Gordian knot thing here, I'm gonna let you have your fun with it.
The Gordian knot? What?
You don't know what the Gordian knot is?
No.
So the Gordian knot, it's a wise tale. There was a knot that no one could untangle. And then Julius Caesar came over and just cut it.
Oh.
So what it means when someone says like, "Oh, it's a Gordian knot," what it basically means is like the easiest answer is usually the best.
What, that behavior's incompetent? Nah, perish the fault.
I wasn't gonna say incompetent, just like they didn't use the same model twice. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, probably. It's acceptable, but I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's a very funny situation that I've made up in my head. So,
anything else from you, Maggie or Magi?
I like the Plague. I also like Elodie Rakoto. Elodie Rakoto is a funny little woman. Elodie Rakoto is actually the most evil character in fiction. I don't think you had Pixel Bush on here, right?
Yes.
Did he cover Elodie's lore at all?
No.
Okay, so Elodie Rakoto is responsible for putting the T virus into the water supply of Raccoon City. I don't think this is lore accurate. You can look at the tome right now. Yeah, she did that, right? And not only that, but she was actually responsible, like she was one of the founding members of Umbrella. And what ended up happening is, after Wesker, like the whole the bankruptcy of Umbrella and stuff like that, she had like $1 million. She's like, oh, what do I do with this? So she invests in cryogenics, right? And she froze herself for 4,000 years. She woke up and she found it she woke up with this guy, met this guy called someone Altman, I think. And what ends up happening is they find this thing in a crater, this marker, and they end up founding this religion called Unitology, and it's basically a huge scam. And Altman's super into it. Elodie's just doing it because it's funny, and yeah, and then eventually you cut to Dead Space 3. Elodie's there, by the way. She was there the entire time. Humpty Dumpty in the Puss in Boots movie. You should turn around and this little Elodie Rakoto is right there.
There's someone listening to this believing every word you're saying.
What do you mean believing every word I say? I'm a dog of trust. I'm very trustworthy as a source for everything that isn't Plague, But yeah, essentially what ends up happening is at the end of Dead Space 3, Isaac, Ellie, Carver, they're all chilling, right? And Elodie gets a bright idea. She brings the Brethren Moon back to Earth, and then she's taken by the entity.
Your mic's cutting. You there?
I kicked my mic again.
You get too excited.
Yeah, I did. I tried to kick my feet up. Oops. But yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, that's holy shit. That's been 4 hours with not even 4 hours, 3 hours and 50. But I think I padded pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like you've had fun though.
Yeah, no, I've had tons of fun. This is fun. This is probably the first official collab I've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really call these collabs personally, but I mean they are.
I mean, this is the first time I've appeared on something in any official capacity. I'm more or less on my own in the whole YouTube sphere.
Yeah,
and even Twitch sphere.
I'm glad Rev recommended you. Yeah, that's how I found you.
Yeah, I remember one day waking up and I was like, oh yeah, Magi would love yapping about things. And I was Plague yapping? Hello? It's my 2 strongest subs, subquit. Yeah.
Two best talents.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this too. I mean, you had a lot of info.
I probably had even more that I just bit my tongue. That I probably forgot to mention.
I had a good time, and it didn't feel like almost 4 hours, did it?
No, it felt like an hour.
Yeah.
I hope that was a good podcast. For everyone on the Fake Bennett channel. My name's Magi. I'll be taking over now. This is my channel now.
I'll change the profile picture the moment the video uploads.
Yeah, you just become the creature for a month, and then like you just don't even like acknowledge it after that.
But yeah, I think, like I said, unless you have anything else to add, I think we're gonna go ahead and enter there.
Yeah, no worries. Just keep doing your thing. I think it's super cool what you're doing. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought it was super fun. Like I remember. Oh fuck! I've got a thing due tomorrow. I should probably work on that. I know it's like 12 at night, but like, yeah, I should probably work on that. Oops. Yeah, no, we're chilling. We're chilling. It was very fun.
Yeah, but I think for those listening on the YouTubes, if you can give everyone where they can find you one last time before I send us off.
Yeah, my channel name is Magi, but it's usually at Magi _N7. I usually post on YouTube. You can find a lot of high quality stuff there, but on other social media platforms, you'll find a lot more consistent postings. So,
all right, and I'll have all that below. But in any case, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. To those who are listening who've made it all the way through, I know some of you do because I see my analytics. A lot of you do actually, but I love y'all. Have a good one, and yeah, bye.